ontogeny.
Alright, it says update successful. We should be going. Hello everybody, welcome back to Paleontologizing. It's really good to have you here. Welcome to wild and windy Wyoming once again. We're here continuing work at our Ceratopsian excavation site. Let me push this microphone back so it stops going into frame there. Perfect. I'm really glad you're here, everybody. Whether you're watching live right now, hello chat, or whether you're watching sometime in the future in the VOD or on YouTube, I'm glad you're here. And let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. Well, normally that means I'm back in my office, we're going over new scientific publications, new papers in paleontology, answering your questions, doing interviews with other paleontologists, 3D printing and 3D modeling and artwork and all sorts of stuff like that. But that's not today. It's summertime. And in summertime, I'm out doing field work. So here we are in Wyoming, digging up what is almost certainly a new species or even a new genus of Ceratopsian dinosaur, horned dinosaur. Think like Triceratops, but about 5 million years older. 5 million years earlier in time, out here in the Late Cretaceous almond formation of Wyoming. So, yeah, we're going to be digging up this dinosaur live, as we've been doing for the past few streams. And I'm glad you're here for it. Let me know if you've got any questions. That's the whole point of these live broadcasts. I can see your questions here in the chat. And hello, everybody. It is good to have you here. Excellent. Yeah, so don't hesitate with those questions. That's what these broadcasts are all about. And here, you got a little smudged there, chat. That's better. Got some dust on you. Cleaner now. Good. Anywho. Excellent. Yeah. Hopefully they will name it Anduzasaurus. I don't think so, Moose. That would actually be really, really bad for me, because if we're going to be naming this new Ceratopsian after me, that probably means that, like, I died during the field season. So, don't wish that upon me, okay? Anyway, yeah. And Gilwen, thank you for the Prime sub. I really appreciate that. It is good to have you here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. So today, of course, we are joined by Nick Hornacek from Pittsburgh. He's up there in the quarry with us. And then also from Pittsburgh, dinosaur curator Matt Lamana from the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh. So we are continuing our excavation today, and well, let's go check it out. Should be another kind of chill stream like yesterday. Just sitting around talking and digging. So if that sounds cool to you, stick around, because it sounds cool to me. Yeah, we just got done with a pretty in-depth conversation about the Godzilla series. Nick is a big fan, but shoot, I shouldn't have said that, because I'm trying to veer in a different direction for conversation, take it back to fossil science. So don't take that bait, Jad. Let's talk about science instead. Naming is like talking about that Scottish play in the theater. Oh, you mean Macbeth? Sinister of Hand? Macbeth? I don't believe in that malarkey. That's a superstitious hocus pocus. There's actually been a study done on this at some point, I think, and it's that there isn't like a significantly higher number of injuries or anything in Macbeth, which is surprising because there's a lot of sword play in that production. You would think it would be more injury prone than other theatrical productions, but statistically it's not. It's not like that, what was it? Spider-Man in the Dark, Too Many Spider-Men? Whatever that cursed production was. Yeah, the arachnid play. Anywho, welcome to our quarry here. Again, we're back with Nick and with Matt.
Hello.
And yeah, we're trying to slowly work everything down toward our big parietal bone right there. We'll be jacketing this tomorrow on Ethan's orders, so you get to see it in all its beauty today. It's not yet covered up. So this is one of the big frill bones of this horned dinosaur. They're pretty darn sure that it's the right parietal. So if these guys have got that big rectangular frill on the back of their head, you're looking at the top right corner of it, right there. We're still not sure how big this animal would have been. It's kind of hard to tell, especially, before we've gotten it out of the ground. But, yeah. I would think it might be a little bigger, but we might just be looking at it wrong. I don't know. Anywho, yeah. Do we want to introduce ourselves real quick for everybody at home?
Well, I'm Nick Hornacek. I volunteer at the Carnegie Museum's Paleo Lab. I did some prep work on the frill found last year.
Nice. Yeah.
He's also headed to grad school in the fall at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Like, small detail.
Yeah, small detail.
My name's Matt Lamana. I'm the dinosaur curator at the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh. Nice to see everybody.
Nice. Yeah, we got, once again, a big shot here in the quarries. We're very lucky to have Matt here.
Like I said, I'm lucky to be here.
So fieldwork is always fun, and it's good to have Matt here working on it. And yeah. Oh yeah, and we're already getting questions. Where's Mandy right now? She's working at the plant site today because in a previous life she was a paleobotanist. So yeah, she's just over the hill, and maybe she'll pop in at some point. But for right now, it's just the three of us. We had a busy morning. We had some new crew members come in last night, including a paleobotanist. We'll probably be streaming with her tomorrow if all goes well. Look at some fossil plants and get her take on them. And then, yeah, and then we had a visit from an off-duty BLM officer, or BLM, I'm not sure what her exact title is, but she works for the Bureau of Land Management, which is the federal governing body for the land that we're on here, public land. And so that was pretty cool. She came out with her son, and it was a lot of fun showing her around, and cool stuff. Good people. What I'm going to try and do is set the camera down over here, if that's cool with everybody. And, yeah, get a nice view of our site.
It's weird. It's like this soil.
Oh yeah, look at all that. That's just modern dirt. Yeah. I wonder if that's like filled in from last year or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that is right there when you go that far. Yeah.
Yeah, it was caving
direction.
a little bit. I just wanted to make it like a nice 90 degree, maybe not 90 degree.
Yeah.
But
Alright, let's hope we still get signal there. Yeah. stuff. Perfect. Thank you, Claire. All right, good. We got good signal. Make sure this thing is nice and secure. Good stuff. Yeah, so right now we're just trying to remove a lot of this rock, chat, so that we can get in proper position to be able to jacket that thing tomorrow. And then knock down a bunch more of this hill so that we can find more bones, hopefully. So let's be sitting right here. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I think that's community brush, yeah.
Better brush. That one doesn't smell.
No, this one's mine.
Oh,
See?
well, of course it doesn't smell. Well, I don't know. Maybe it does. I have no
I'll
idea.
take this one. It's it is a little better than the one I got.
Humbuggin says, is it just perspective or did you really go to town on that overhang? Oh yeah, we've been clearing a lot of this rock away. We've been busy beavers today.
Yeah, it's easier when you're not finding bones, and we haven't found anything today. So.
Yeah. Matt, where do you think the most difficult places that you've done field work?
Most difficult?
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious answer is Antarctica.
Uh-huh.
But I would say I actually. I mean, Antarctica definitely is the most difficult from, I don't know, like in the sense that we require a lot of support to do it. Like we
Sure.
have
Just
a
infrastructure.
camp manager, and like, you know, it's all government, National Science Foundation funded, so we
Yeah.
have like a huge like amount of infrastructure behind us. But I would say the most physically challenging conditions I've ever faced are in Patagonia for sure. Just because the wind is so. I mean, it's pretty windy here today, but this is honestly a good day in Patagonia
Yeah.
in terms of wind. Yeah. It tends to be quite a cold wind too. So
Interesting.
Like a really,
Even during the summers.
yeah, a lot of times. Yeah, I mean, it can get really hot there. It can get as hot as this.
Yeah.
But like we had, remember the 2000 season? We had we were there for about a month. I remember like the second week it was about 90 Fahrenheit.
Uh-huh.
By the end of the time, so 3 weeks later, less than 3 weeks later, it was snowing. and windy almost, not the entire time, but windy a lot of the time.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I think overall Patagonia is the hardest, I think.
Interesting. So are those like cold winds coming up from the Antarctic?
I think it's probably because, I mean, I'm not a meteorologist in any stretch of the imagination. I'm really just going to be guessing here, but what I've always kind of attributed to is you've got basically extremely tall mountains on the west end of the continent, and the prevailing wind is west to east, and I think you're getting like that cool air from the mountains moving down across the hot plains very, very quickly a lot of the time. Potentially even the cold Pacific moving to the warmer Atlantic, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's just that part of South America, it's not, you know, it's not narrow like the Isthmus of Panama or Florida or something, but it's a skinny part of the continent. And, you know, I think that's part of it, is that you've got, you know, there are vast differences in elevation. There's vast differences in ocean temperature on either side of the continent. I think it has something to do with that.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing though that's really challenging about Antarctica is the way that we do it. We're on a ship, and we have to cross the Drake Passage on a ship, and the Drake Passage is widely regarded as the roughest seas on the planet.
Oh,
so this is the body of water that goes between South America and Antarctica.
Yeah, the Strait of Magellan, is that what it's called?
The Strait of Magellan is the northern, would kind of be like the northernmost end of that.
Okay, gotcha.
Not exactly like that, but it's, so the Strait of Magellan actually technically is still within like South American waters, I think. But so the Drake Passage is this body of open water between the southern tip of South America and the northern tip of Antarctica.
Gotcha.
And it's like, you know, I mean, I've crossed that 6 times, so I've been to Antarctica 3 times, and I've been there and back, obviously. So every single time, there have been times where it hasn't been as bad, but It's so bad typically that, and it takes about 4 days to get across. You're in the Drake for about 2.5 of those 4. And it can be, I'm told that it can be really calm sometimes, but I've never seen it calm. To the point where it's like, I mean, like the showers all have like railings on them. So like, because when you're taking a shower on the ship, which is pretty cool to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I would literally fall out of the shower because the way the ship rocks.
That's nuts.
It's like rocking on like I want to say about maybe like every 30 seconds it'll swing back and forth. And it's just like.
Is that pitch or is that roll or is that?
It would be like. Roll, I think. Yeah, so you do get a little bit of pitch as well, but it's mostly side to side. So like if that's roll, which I think it is. Yeah. So it's mostly roll. There's a little bit of pitch too. Sometimes you'll get it almost like in a cross pattern.
Weird.
Yeah, and so it's pretty awful. It's I have never gotten seasick. It's one of the genetic, one of the few like good genes I got, I think. But almost everybody else does. Some people spend, the entire time just in bed. It's pretty awful.
Wow.
Oh, that's a modern root. Okay.
As harrowing as that sounds, I'd love to try that sometime.
Yeah, it's once you make it to Antarctica, the seas tend to be a lot calmer around Antarctica itself, and so it's like it's like you've gone through hell and arrived in frozen heaven, something like that. Like getting to Antarctica, if we could just fly there, and that's the way the Argentines do it, they're smart.
Yeah, big C-130 or something like that.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And they take off from Ushuaia and they land on. There's an airstrip on Marambio Island, also known as Seymour Island. And so it like basically plops them down right into the where you want to be there. But yeah, instead, because of the way the U.S. Antarctic program does it, we get an unwanted 4-day cruise across the Drake, it's not enjoyable. Let's just say so. But once you're in Antarctica, thanks to all the awesome logistical support we have, the fieldwork isn't that hard. It's it's like it is anywhere else except colder.
What's jacketing like in a place like that? Do you actually do jacketing?
Yeah, we have. It's challenging because it's hard to get the plaster to set at such cold temperatures.
Yeah.
We've attempted with making fires to try to get the reaction to speed up.
Yeah, because I would imagine that you'd have to use some sort of a chemical accelerant or something to get the plaster to kick.
We never have tried, and I think we probably would have to get special permission to do that if it was anything that was potentially harmful to the environment.
Sure.
But we, like in the 2016 season, we jacketed a plesiosaur pelvis, so a marine reptile hip complex. And it took forever for the jacket to dry because of how cold it was. It wasn't even that cold by Antarctic. Actually, it wasn't even that cold by anywhere standards. It was, we were having highs in around the 40s around that time, and lows around 25. But it was still cold enough for it to not really set very well. The bigger problem though with excavating in Antarctica is that once you get down, you can have rock that's pretty soft. Like this rock that we're working here in the Almond Formation isn't that hard. You can have rock that's like this consistency, and so not that difficult to dig through, but once you get down to about 6 inches within it, you're into permafrost.
Oh shoot.
And so you're not just digging through rock, you're digging through frozen rock. And that can be like, so Steve Salisbury and I would have pickaxe competitions, like how long we could each last swinging the pickaxe, and I think I would poop out at around 50 swings at a time.
That sounds dangerous, because like if you're exerting yourself that much, you're going to sweat, and the sweat can freeze.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, it's not the smartest thing to do, but but even with all of that effort expended, we would only, like the amount of rock I can move just with my knife here in this moment, this would take us probably 20 pick swings to get out.
You're kidding me.
No, it's really slow going. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep. So yeah, that's a challenge for sure in Antarctica.
You going back anytime soon?
I hope so, but right now the funding program of the National Science Foundation that funds our research, they've kind of suspended their program, I think temporarily, hopefully, because there was a huge kind of backlog induced by COVID. Like, so so basically all these projects that got funded that, were in the queue to go down there, because there's not very much space on these ships. There's not, not that many cruises. They had to backlog everybody. And then on top of that, they've retired one of the 2 ships that they're about to retire one of the 2 ships that they have. So they've have their capacity and they have a giant backlog. So for the time being, they've kind of suspended that program, but they are still accepting grant proposals for work that doesn't require field work. And luckily we have, from the 2016 season, and actually from a field season that some friends and I, or some friends, not me, some friends of mine just conducted, we actually have a lot of material to work on that we already have. So we've got to, scientifically prepare that, which means clean the rock off of it, study it, in the cases of some of the fossils, like CT scan them, things like that. So we've got plenty of work to do that doesn't require going down there again, at least anytime soon. So hopefully we'll get a grant to be able to do the lab work that we need to do, and then by the time that's done, hopefully there'll be eligibility to go back there again.
Nice. So there's a limited number of vessels. That ship that you were on, was that specially designed for that environment?
Yeah, so I've been on 2 different ships. I've been on both of the ships that the U.S. Antarctic program runs.
And they're getting rid of one of them?
They're getting rid of one of them, yeah. So one of them, the one I've been on twice, is called the Lawrence M. Gould, and that's the one they're getting rid of. To be honest, it's not ideal in a lot of ways, and I think if they can ultimately replace it with something a little bit more capable, that'll be a good thing. And I don't think I'm saying anything controversial there.
Okay.
The other ship, the Nathaniel B. Palmer, is better, and that was the one we were on in the 2016 season, so the 3rd time I've been there.
I'm trying to picture these. Is it like a Coast Guard cutter type of thing? Or?
I'm trying to think. I don't know my ships very well. You know what I mean? Like different kinds of ships.
Yeah.
But they're...
outside of Star Wars, at least.
Right, exactly. Exactly, yeah. It doesn't look anything like the Millennium Falcon. No, it's... Well, so the most distinctive thing about them is I think the most distinctive thing about them is that they're painted orange, so they're easy to find, and if they get lost in the in the frozen areas of Antarctica. But imagine. I think the Chileans, so the ships are docked in Chile, and Punta Arenas, Chile, when they're not in service. Yeah. And the Chileans call them like the big tomatoes or something like that, because they look like...
It's probably like international orange, like
I
like the spacesuits that...
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that color.
That's the Golden Gate Bridge, too, is technically... the color is international orange, but it's kind of a more red hue.
I think of it as kind of maroon almost, or something. Yeah. But yes, it's that color. The Gould is about 200 and... I'm going to get this wrong, but it's somewhere over 200 feet long. Okay. And the Palmer's over 300 feet long.
Okay.
So the Palmer's bigger. The Palmer's more capable. It's better. It has a better ice rating than the Gould, I believe. It's just the Palmer's just bigger and better in all ways, basically. So it doesn't roll as much. It's a little better at handling the Drake and things like that. So.
Does it have a helipad on it?
It does,
nice.
And the Gould does not. And we were really fortunate. We were originally awarded 2 field seasons on our last grant, but we kept getting shut out because of so much sea ice in the peninsula that we wouldn't be able to make it to the islands that we had. So we kind of opted instead for a better, like more souped up field season that included helicopter support.
Nice.
Last time. So
Kiwis or something?
They are, what are they, Bell 407s, I think?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Again, I don't know my helicopters well, but I know that I remember that. I don't know. I mean, I've seen similar looking helicopters do like medevac type stuff. It's probably similar to like a news chopper or something like, but probably also hopefully,
retrofitted
a little bit more,
for
retrofitted for more extreme conditions. But they were great. They let us get to places that we never got to before. Some places where very few paleontologists had ever been before. In some cases, there's a little island called Robertson Island. On the east end of the Seal Nunataks, about 120 miles southwest of our main field area, but it has Cretaceous rocks on it, and so and they're exposed in the summer. So they were just at the maximum range of our helicopter. And so we got one of the pilots to take us down there, and we spent a day down there. It was Valentine's Day 2016.
Nice.
And and we actually got a scientific paper out of it because really anything that you do there hasn't been done before. So unfortunately, we didn't find any fossil vertebrates, so fossils of backboned animals, but we did find lots of ammonites and other kinds of things like invertebrates.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Were they new?
I actually don't. They might be, but I'm not the right person to ask. When we published the paper, it wasn't really about the ammonite taxonomy. It was more about the age of the rocks.
Gotcha. More of a strat paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool,
yep.
cool.
Yep.
All right, Nick, we're already getting some compliments on your very fastidious digging. We've got somebody who's mesmerized by like your neatness and your precision. And
really? What'd they say?
It was a while ago. Let me scroll up and try and find it. I think it was Anonymous who said it. Watching Nick at work is just mesmerizing. He's so systematic and working so neatly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And I guess the counterpoint to that is that watching Matt work is so discouraging.
We're a couple of slobs over here.
So discouraging and chaotic.
Yeah. The new guy got some points. Let's go.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I'll own that.
Let's see. Is this the ship I wonder? Asks Miss Yvette.
If they Google Nathaniel B. Palmer or Lawrence M. Gould, they'll find the ships.
S.N. Palmares?
No.
Looks more like a tugboat or something.
No, it's if the people on the stream Google like Nathaniel B. Palmer ship, they should find. I think they both have Wikipedia entries, so they should find the Wikipedia entry, and then each of those should have a picture of the ship. But they look similar to each other. The Gould and the Palmer look similar. They're both orange, for instance.
Gotcha. Let's see. I looked them up. They are icebreakers, says Crimson Carnotaurus.
Yes, they're.
Okay.
I think the Gould is technically. The Gould, I think, is technically ice reinforced, but not an official icebreaker. I don't remember. And it's possible too that they could have been like upgraded in some way since I was on.
It's not like the keel was necessarily laid as an icebreaker, but
yeah. I think last I knew the Gould was like ice reinforced, but not officially one. But yeah, they can. I have seen them both break ice.
See any marine mammals on the way out there?
Oh, yeah, lots.
Any beaked whales?
I have never seen a beaked whale, and
hardly
I would love
anybody
to.
has. Yeah. They're so cool.
Yeah, the coolest things we've seen are. So we see a lot of seals once we're down in Antarctica. Those are typically Weddell seals and crab eaters, but once in a while we find leopard seals too.
Nice. Yeah.
In fact, we had a leopard seal follow our Zodiac boat when we were working in the South Shetland Islands in 2009. And I was like initially kind of a little bit alarmed because they're
if they want to eat you, they will.
I was going to say there's at least one human fatality caused by a leopard seal. So they're a big and potentially dangerous animal, but. This one was a juvenile, so not a fully grown one, and it seemed to mostly be interested in following the Zodiac for something to do. It really reminded me of like a puppy chasing a chew toy or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had to listen to a podcast for my entomology class about a leopard seal. It made zero sense why I had to. But it was talking about how this leopard seal...
These are not insects.
Yeah, thank you. But it was talking about how this leopard seal went up to this diver and, gave him a dead
penguin. Yeah, National Geographic diver.
I really don't know how that tied into my entomology course.
That's funny.
I mean, honestly, I only spent 2 weeks studying actual insects and their order and...
Wow,
stuff like that, but the rest was about environmental.
Are you sure
issues.
This was an entomology?
Yeah, it was entomology 200 something, and the guy was just, getting mad about how humans suck.
Oh, like how we're trashing the planet.
Yeah, stuff like that, environmental issues. But like the actual entomology stuff was cool. But that's what I remember.
Well, that's
leopard seals.
That's actually I shouldn't make fun because that's good that that your professor is teaching you about environmental issues.
Rather than just like here's the
evolutionary tree of fleas or something.
It was a
stamp collecting, insect edition.
It was a little bummed because he was going to bring in chocolate chip cookies made from cricket powder.
I've eaten crickets before. It's kind of meh,
It's overhyped.
There's not a lot there.
They're just crunchy. Yeah.
It's like popcorn without the flavor.
Oh, look who's back. You okay?
It's bad over there, yeah.
Oh, really?
Is everybody getting dust in their faces and in their eyes?
Yeah.
Do you want my goggles?
We've got goggles.
Yeah.
Do they have goggles?
It's more just like being battered.
Yeah, it takes its toll.
They can't wrap it in fossils right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that's taking a toll on me is the sun, so I'm gonna go put some more sun.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
My skin's starting to peel here a little bit
That's
too.
why I just left. I just got reapplied.
I'm not burning, but it's just like, yeah, that UV is just destroying my skin's integrity.
Well, chat's gonna love seeing me work.
Yeah, you.
I need to find my tool first.
All right, Nick. Here's your chance to steal the show.
I know. Hi, everybody. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day.
Tell them all about Godzilla lore.
Oh, all about. So it all started.
Oh no.
1945.
Yeah.
Kenya tool.
That's 54.
Oh yeah, my bad. What's Castle Bravo?
Yeah, I think
That's
Bikini Atoll may have been part of the Castle Bravo.
Yeah, something like that. Lucky Dragon number 5.
Oh boy.
Damn.
Yeah, wind's getting atrocious.
Yeah.
This is starting to feel a little Patagonia-esque.
It was really bad last week.
I can't hear you.
I got knocked over 3 times standing up.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
Windy Wyoming.
Mandy was just saying, for the people on the stream, Mandy was just saying she got knocked over 3 times already today.
Jeez.
I feel like I need to just put rocks in my pocket
There you go.
so I just sink.
Paleontology, it's not all fun and games.
It rocks. Okay.
Yeah, I might grab my goggles just in case. I'm at the ready. Let's see. Hi to you, least USAI. How you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. Excuse me. Yeah. Well, let's see. Just like playing in the sandbox. Exactly, Foos King. Exactly.
Yeah, except there's no. Yeah, it's like building sandcastles, except there's no ocean to jump into.
And
At least
rocks.
now. If we were back in the Cretaceous, then yeah.
No seagulls to steal our hot dogs either.
Yep. Or my brother's ham sandwich. That happened.
Yeah.
He was eating a ham sandwich on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like sitting there. He's like, talking like, kind of not paying attention. Like, just on the sandwich like this. And all of a sudden a seagull comes out and takes it out of his hand. And the look on his face was so amazing. It was this like mixture of bemusement with like anger. And I think
that sounds about right.
I think all he could say was like, "Hey."
At a certain point, it's like, fair enough,
Yeah,
got the drop on me.
Yeah. Down in Florida, I had a pelican attack my ice cream cone. I don't know if I think I kept
pelican.
I think I kept the ice cream cone though. Oh yeah, they're
Wow.
aggressive.
Huh.
Yeah, and they've got all that giant pouch. They
Yeah,
store
the big
a lot of
cooler
ice cream cones
sack.
in there.
Yeah. Big.
What's
Would
your
you call it a
thoughts on-
dulip or a? Huh?
Oh, what's your thoughts on Irritator at having one like that? Wasn't
It makes sense.
What,
Yeah.
a Spinosaurid having a pelican sack?
Yeah, or
I think
something.
it's not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some evidence. Actually, there's been a couple of different papers, at least, published on, like, the jaw expansion in Spinosaurids.
Yep.
Not just in Irritator, but I think also in.
Suchomimus.
I don't think
Maybe
it was
Spinosaurus
Suchomimus.
itself?
I think it was Spinosaurus itself. Yeah. think there's only ever been one paper published on Suchomimus. It's the original 98, really short Nature paper, or maybe it was Science.
Technically Science, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, just I don't think there's never been a big monograph or anything, which is a shame.
No, there's still a lot that there's a lot of material, but we just don't know a whole lot about the animal because not a lot has been published.
Well, I've been saying this for years and years, that the hind limbs of Suchomimus are way shorter than are usually portrayed.
Yeah, I feel like Scott Hartman did
that like a week or two ago, yeah. But you go back to the Sereno's original paper, and you like look at the measurements, and it's like, everybody's reconstructing this thing with hind limbs that are way too long.
Well, that tracks with what we think we know about Spinosaurus hind limbs.
Yeah,
and a lot of people, me included, I reviewed the first, actually a couple of Nizar Ibrahim's papers on Spinosaurus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the first thing that I thought of when I saw the really short hind limb was, could there be more than one individual in that quarry?
Yeah.
But the evidence, there is evidence against that, and that's that in 1934, Ernst Stromer published a partial skeleton from the Bahariya oasis that was blown up in World War II that also implies really short hind limbs. This is the quote-unquote Spinosaurus B, the second specimen of Spinosaurus from Bahariya, from Egypt. And so I think probably the reconstructions of the animal are pretty close to accurate. I think the part where we don't know the most about Spinosaurus is the forelimb. Yeah.
We don't have wrists from any Spinosaurid anywhere.
There is... let's see. I don't know if it has the carpals. There is a Spinosaur, an unpublished Spinosaur hand from Brazil.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, it was described by Eleni Machado in her master's thesis.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's been mentioned in the literature a few times, only by specimen number. But...
Do you think she'd send that to me if I were to ask?
Potentially, yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, a photo of it probably, or,
Oh, not the thesis itself?
Yeah, well, potentially the thesis itself.
I want the fossil in my hands.
I've got this paper, Chat knows about this, long-time viewers have known about it. I've been talking about this for years and years. Finally going to get it submitted for publication very soon, I hope.
Nice.
But, publishing on like the feeding ecology of Spinosaurids, and only once have I ever held in my hand any Spinosaurid material at all whatsoever. And it was a baryonyx tooth that Denver Fowler had in his personal collection that he found on the Isle of Wight.
If you come to the Carnegie Museum, we have a Spinosaurus rostrum. We have a bunch of stuff from Bahariya. It's just isolated teeth and an ilium, but the cool thing is it's the only Spinosaurus material from the original type locality that still exists.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is in our permanent collection, and others will go back to Egypt.
Nice.
And the snout will actually go back to Morocco eventually.
That's not the nickname, the Fisher King snout, is it?
I don't think so. I've never heard that nickname.
I want to say that might be an LACM.
Okay.
Or something, but I think it may have been a commercial specimen that we purchased.
Yeah, that's what happened with this one too. This was one where I found out about it for sale, and it was unprepared, and it looked like it was going to be gorgeous, and the price was pretty good. So I figured, we should save this thing for science.
Yeah.
And so I got the museum's director at the time to give me the money to buy it, and we bought it.
Nice.
And so now we're working on a repatriation agreement with some colleagues in Morocco.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are that the Egyptian material and the Moroccan stuff is separated by 10 million years? Because don't we have limited strat for a lot of it?
There's honestly, stratigraphic control on the Bahariya oasis in Egypt isn't great. I mean, it's the dating of those beds could be much better, let's just say, and I think from what I've never been to the Kem, I've never been to Morocco, but I mean, from what I know of it, it's a really thick sequence that you think could encompass 5 million years, 10 million years, who knows? So it is possible that they're not stratigraphically equivalent.
I think that might be a source of some of the weirdness, just...
Yeah, I mean, I think I would not be totally surprised if ultimately the Bahariya animal and the Moroccan animal are different species at the very least.
Yeah.
But we need, just like lots of other things in paleontology, we need more material from both places to be able to, especially from Egypt, to be able to solve that. So. But luckily, there's a really incredible team of Egyptian scientists that's working on that right now. So.
Nice.
Yeah, they conduct expeditions to Bahariya almost every year.
Is that Hisham Salam's lab?
It is, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you ever met Bilal Salem?
I am one of his masters, actually one of his PhD advisors now.
Oh, holy cow!
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, he was out with us in the field in 2022.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Out here?
Out in Utah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he was roommates with Fisher for like
that's funny.
2 years or something.
Yeah, because they were both affiliated with Pat O'Connor.
Yeah. Small world once again, chat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I know Bilal quite well. I think he's got an incredibly bright future.
Yeah.
And he's leading the charge on the description of a lot of the new dinosaur material, and there is new dinosaur material from Bahariya. So,
Nice.
So stay tuned, everybody. But yeah.
Let's see. Let me catch up the chat here. There's a ton of fossil material. China is like almost swiftly surpassing the U.S. in terms of like new dinosaurs every year and that sort of thing.
I would say probably more new dinosaurs per year come from China than come from the U.S.
I've been doing tallies for the past few years, and China's approaching, but not quite there yet.
Well, like you're talking total, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like yearly. Yeah.
No, yearly. Yeah.
Oh,
year
really?
to year.
Okay,
So the U.S. has been in the lead the past, as long as I've been following this, so like 5 years.
Huh. So so there were more dinosaurs named from the U.S. in 2023 than named from China. Oh, yep. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's only like 2 or 3 more though.
Okay. So where does let's see, where would some of the
Argentina is actually
where's Argentina?
It's been second, I think, 2 of the past 5 years.
Yep, not super surprised there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then a lot of new ones from Spain too, which is really cool to
sure.
see.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, hopefully I'll be presenting on this at SVP this year. Just like, I don't know. It's like really low-hanging research fruit, but just doing tallies of, new dinosaur taxa described each year. How many do we have?
Well, and that also has, and this not to get too like soapboxy, but it also has like implications for like, the growth of paleontology in countries other than the U.S.
That's what the abstract is about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like, how do you foster the right conditions to have
exactly? And like, how do you we both actually all of us here in this quarry, we're here in the U.S. we're in a relatively rich country, and when we work with collaborators in other countries, I think it's our responsibility to try to elevate them as much as we can.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see.
My hat go? Oh, it's over there.
Conwolf says, if this channel gets more funding, can your team do international dig site work? Well, we were kind of talking about that this morning in an oblique sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. Let's just say.
Yeah. And
Patagonia again?
Oh, 2 questions from Matt. Did they use jackhammers and rock saws in Antarctica?
We do not, at least so far, and that's mostly because we don't do a ton of jacketing. Although I do think having a jackhammer, especially a jackhammer, rock saws I don't like as much.
They can be kind of scary.
Well, they're scary and they can't cut very deep. That's what I don't like about it. It's not really the fear factor.
You need a really wide blade, which would be much more dangerous.
Extremely dangerous. Yeah. So like you can cut. I mean, the cutoff saw that we used in Australia, you could cut like a 6 foot deep. Or 6 inch deep. That'd be nice. 6 inch deep, kind of slot in the, in the rock, and then you'd cut around and you could take out the block that way. But then you've still got to somehow break it out from the bottom too. Yep. So I find cutoff saws like so, like the fear factor with them kind of outweighs their utility sometimes. I think. And
then you need a generator or something like that. Trying to get that to work in those conditions,
right?
Sure would be a challenge.
Yeah. But a jackhammer, would be a good idea if we end up doing a lot of like collecting more big plesiosaurs, things like that. Mm-hmm. Or if we're fortunate enough to find the dinosaurs that we found. Officially are only pretty fragmentary, but if we were to find, like, say, an articulated skeleton of a dinosaur that was in something like a mudstone like this or a sandstone like this, a lot of times when they're found in concretion, so you can just pick up the blocks and prepare them back in the lab. Mm-hmm. But if we were to find a dinosaur in a block like this, then a jackhammer would be really, really helpful. And in fact, we probably should have had one when we were trying to collect that plesiosaur, but we didn't think to bring one with us, which was dumb. So.
Well, just logistics are such a challenge in an environment like that, I imagine.
And the other thing too is that I'm trying to think, like, you have to get permits to do basically anything in Antarctica, so, you know, there's a possibility that even if we had thought to bring one, we might not have gotten the permit to do it. But, but yeah, it would be a good thing to have for the next time. I have no idea how it would do against permafrost, but it would be good to find out. I mean, chances are it would do better than I did. So.
We had another question, from maybe a new viewer. Radio Rabbit, have you ever found bones that later turned out to be fake, or something like chicken bones clearly buried by someone?
I have. I'm going to keep these people anonymous, but I was once shown a purported bird fossil in another country, and again, I'll keep this anonymous. So,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, probably not, because I don't think this ever saw the light of day. But some colleagues in another country showed me a bunch of fossils, but they also showed me this thing that they thought was a fossil bird. I can't remember what it was, claw or something like that. And I remember looking at them and just being like, how do you know this isn't modern? Because it looks modern to me. And sure enough, it was modern. So yeah, even professionals get fooled once in a while. I definitely have been digging up things that, you know, in the past that I thought were bone that turned out to be rock, and honestly vice versa. You know,
it does happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think I've ever had the misfortune to, you know, spend a lot of time at a site and find out it was really just somebody's old chicken dinner or something like that. But, you know, but it's conceivable. I think that could happen.
On the flip side of that, you might know about this already, but if you don't, it might blow your mind. Are you familiar with the famed British astronomer Fred Hoyle?
The name is familiar, but
he was like a steady state guy. I think he might have won a Nobel Prize for physics at one point. But he was like very much against the idea of the Big Bang. Anyway, in the 1980s, he published this book with a co-author, and it was called Archaeopteryx, like the first bird. A case of fossil forgery.
Oh my God.
So he had this like conspiracy theory that all of the Archaeopteryx specimens were fake. And he published a book on it, and I have it back in camp. I can show it to you.
Oh,
I have Bill Clemens' old copy.
Wow, that's that must be something if you took space in your luggage for that.
It's just absolutely bonkers.
Wow.
So
was he a creationist by any chance?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It turned out that he didn't like the idea of fossil birds from the Mesozoic. Because he thought that like birds should appear after. Because he didn't believe in evolution. He was, I don't know if you could call him quite a creationist. He denied being a creationist. But he thought that evolution wasn't real, instead that living things got changed by alien space viruses that would fall to Earth at different moments and then cause everything to change. So it's like he couldn't accept the idea that there were Mesozoic birds. It was like that was the fly in the ointment for his idea.
Why couldn't
hence Archaeopteryx must be a hoax.
Fake. So why couldn't the alien space virus have fallen down in the Jurassic?
I don't know. But it's wild.
I've never won any Nobel Prizes, so my brain just can't comprehend.
I think there's something that happens to people sometimes when they win a Nobel Prize, where like.
Well, I think that people sometimes, you know, that's the mountaintop, right? You know, that's the peak of a scientific career. And I think sometimes people, like, nobody wants to believe they've already peaked, right? And so you kind of start sometimes grasping at straws, trying to recapture the magic, you know, in a different way. I mean, I will never get to experience that myself.
Well, because they don't have a Nobel Prize for paleontology.
And also because I would never win it if they did. But.
You never know. But I guess the best we can hope for is what, the Romer Simpson medal?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's somehow. Say this tongue-in-cheek, but it's somehow appropriate that our highest medal in vertebrate paleontology is one letter away from Homer
Simpson. Yeah.
Well, I legit thought you were making a Homer Simpson.
No.
No, it really is called the Romer Simpson medal. It's named for
Alfred Sherwood Romer.
Yep, Al Romer and George Gaylord Simpson.
Yeah.
And,
giants in the field.
Yep.
And Paleo Jim says, Earth continuously seeded by space insects.
Nice, I like it. Well, that's why we're here studying these wasps.
Yep.
That's our running joke here, in case anybody, anybody from town happens by. We'll say, oh yeah, we're just geologists out here.
Studying the wasps.
Yeah. There's so many. Actually, they've not been bad today.
Geologists are big into wasps.
We're looking
for often the inverse as well.
Yeah.
We're looking for the burrows.
Right, I like that. Yeah, it's good. That's actually almost plausible, Nick. I like it. Yeah, I just was going for utter ridiculousness.
We did that too. Looking for their lord. I don't know.
Right, the queen.
The queen. No, not the wasp queen, but like the lord and savior of wasps.
Wow.
So it's a religious pilgrimage.
Yeah, this is a Sorry.
Not like trying to find the stray cat queen like we were talking about earlier. the feral cat queen.
Yep, the one that sits in the den and all the other ones, all the drones bring it food. Yeah. Looks like Jabba the Hutt, except with whiskers.
You do a Jabba the Hutt impression?
I mean, not a good one.
Whoa.
Ah!
Teeny Jedi! And Hoyle, yeah, Jim. Did I show you that book, Jim? I'll bring it because it's it's in my.
Is this
my
Kirkland
gear
again?
What's that? Yeah.
Is this Kirkland again?
Yeah. And oh yeah, Jim told me this story about a prank that they pulled one time where they took a little rabbit jaw, like a modern one, off the surface.
Yeah. And
then they colored it with a Sharpie and then stuck it into a quarry. And they got somebody pretty good with that. Cretaceous rabbit.
Yeah, that's just cruel.
Should we take this down? This thing that you're sitting
Yeah,
on?
I'm working my way backwards, so I'm gonna dethrone myself in a little bit.
What, Mandy? I have some.
I'll just dig a hole right underneath you.
There you go.
And then it'll collapse.
Sinkhole.
Yep.
Yeah. And oh, Jim says I've seen Hoyle's book. I've got Bill Clemens' old copy of it. It's got his name written in it, and I think it's got notes in it too. There was like his handwriting is a little bit hard to decipher.
So over and over again. Yeah, this tracks. Yeah, this tracks.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Now there was something about the one thing I remember was like something Monday morning quarterback.
So wow, so he was actually taking this seriously. Yeah.
Well, I think I don't know if it's actually his handwriting. I had to confirm with Pat Holroyd, but I'll show you when we get back to camp. And hello to you, Yasser. Welcome. New person here. And Killer Kermit, thank you for the 5 gift subscriptions. Appreciate that, huh? Oh, a piece of paper towel? Am I grabbing that, Nick?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm really good at pointing, but send the young guy to go run and get it.
And Fred Hoyle was really into space insects? Oh boy. I didn't know about this.
Wow, this guy, he was a Renaissance man.
Oh boy.
Did you already get that? You're fast.
I was on the track team. No, I wasn't.
I was going to say, you're not going to get me this time.
Why do I not look like?
Clear Burst says, thoughts on knee pads? There are some concerns that you didn't get any on the wish list. I don't really need knee pads. I don't know. They get in the way. They make my knees all sweaty.
We also have burlap.
Yeah, we could just... Yeah.
I actually I'm gonna take.
No, you got it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the opposite tack there. I like elbow and knee pads.
Nice.
Myself.
Yeah.
So, but I have tender skin.
Tender loins.
Back home I wear shorts like year round, so I don't know. My knees are used to getting scuffed up and everything. I got pretty tough knees. Yeah. And Sloppy Salamander says, Danny's only 21. He's got a few years before he needs knee pads. There you go. Yes. Yeah. That's definitely true. 21 and single, chat. Just like all successful Twitch streamers.
Why am I not successful?
Are you 21?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. Maybe I am. Yes, I am. I'm definitely 21.
Yeah.
Where are you up to?
I'm going to take another load of leaf fossils down.
Okay.
Oh, and do we having wasps go up to the camera lens? I haven't noticed this. They're taking Sweetie Pie's role of camera hog. So I've got a cat at home, or rather the cat lived there before I moved in.
Oh, okay.
But she loves to just sit in front of the camera and just block the whole thing. It's just like this big feline eclipse when I'm streaming back in my office.
I think my favorite thing about the pandemic era was seeing my colleagues' cats on the Zoom.
Yeah.
I can't resist. Our cat hates Zoom.
She really wants to go back to the office.
No, she just hates when I talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, uh-huh.
That's funny. No, the cats back home know that they get treats when they come near the camera while I'm streaming, so they've been pretty well trained to do that. Yeah. Shady says, your home came with a cat? 3 cats. Yeah. Strictly speaking, they're my landlords. I think their names are on the deed.
My cat's gonna be on my will.
So you're planning to die within the next, 18 years?
Yep.
Okay. That's dark.
I guess so.
You can always amend the will later. You know?
Well, that's true.
Put another cat on it.
Different cat.
Yeah. Do cats add to or detract from property value? Asked Sloppy Simon. I think it depends.
Yeah, it definitely depends. Our cat would definitely detract. Anything?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Which is what you are about to become.
Lordy says the cats have been missing Danny. Aw, I miss them too.
My cat doesn't miss me. My cat's name is Wild Beast.
Should have been in Latin.
Bestia salvaje. Well, in Spanish it's Bestia salvaje.
What's wild in Latin? Something
Theros, maybe?
Well,
is that Greek?
Beast is Theros, right? Like Therium?
Oh, no, I said Ferris.
Ferris.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might
like
be,
ferox,
right.
like the species
right.
epithet.
That's like, I guess that's fierce, probably, right? Isn't it?
Close enough. I don't know.
Jim, help us out.
Ferotherium would be a good name.
That's bad.
It's probably preoccupied.
She had a mouth disease because she was a feral cat. And we had to have all of her teeth removed. So
all of her teeth.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she can only eat wet food. She swallows treats she swallows them whole, like a suction feeder. But my friend Judd Case, who's another paleontologist, he's a mammal paleontologist at Eastern Washington University. He comes and visits me quite a bit, and he loves her, and he calls her Identophilus, so which means toothless.
Yeah,
toothless
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Identophilus.
Yeah. From Rage Master, how do you avoid sunspots? So, being on the Earth's surface is pretty good for that. Most sunspots occur on the surface of the sun.
Are they talking about like age spots?
I don't know, probably, yeah.
I mean, I don't.
It's just, that's an occupational hazard out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, we try to wear big, broad-brimmed hats.
Yep.
We
There's a lot of sunscreen.
Like sometimes I have long sleeves on. Not today. Any parts of the skin that are exposed, we try to hit with sunscreen beforehand. And then sometimes reapply over the course of the day just in case.
Yep.
So you can't totally prevent it, but you can take precautions.
Yeah.
And hope. I go to the dermatologist every year just to make sure that I get I don't have anything growing on my skin that I shouldn't.
Yeah. I don't know. I cannot wear long pants or long sleeves in the field. That would be I would die.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't find it any hotter than shorts.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe long sleeves, yeah, but I'm so used to pants in the field.
I'm totally not. So, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I could just wear shorts year-round.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid.
All right, so that's interesting. That might be the difference because, I'm from upstate New York where I wear pants a ton. And
yeah. If it's above 60 degrees and I'm wearing long pants, I will overheat. I risk heat exhaustion.
Interesting, okay.
But if I'm wearing shorts, it could be 110 and I'll be fine. I think I dissipate a ton of heat through my legs. Which is why I gotta periodically stand up like this and radiate some of that heat out.
I'm probably the biggest hater
like a Stegosaurus plates, like that old idea.
I cannot stand long sleeve shirts.
Really?
I feel like I'm in a straitjacket.
Huh. I mean, I guess when I wear them, I usually like roll the sleeves up a little bit, so it's in some ways like kind of like a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, and Jim says, I'm pretty weathered. Sailing in my youth probably got me the worst.
Yeah.
I could see
being
that,
on the water for sure, because the sun's reflecting.
Yeah.
It happens here in the quarry too. There's some reflective effect of the sun's rays, but yeah, the water is a really, really reflective surface, obviously, and I've gotten massively sunburned in my kayak. One of my favorite things to do is fish in my kayak. So, yeah, again, you just take as many precautions as you can, but you can't stop it completely.
Back in 2012, Denver Fowler and I were doing like a survey of the basal sand of the Hell Creek, so like this really nice white sandstone.
Cool.
But it was really, really hot out there, and all of that light was reflecting. I got sunburned repeatedly on the underside of my nose.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like skiers get.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have to look out for that in Antarctica somewhat, especially like in terms of eye damage.
Yeah.
So part of our standard kit in Antarctica is glacier goggles.
Mm-hmm. Now, Matt, I was going to ask you to tell us the story or stories of how the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh happened to acquire the holotype of Tyrannosaurus, which was originally at AMH in New York.
Yeah, so as many of the viewers will know, the Tyrannosaurus rex was discovered by the famous paleontologist Barnum Brown in 1902 in Montana, and it was what would become the type specimen was brought back to the American Museum and that year, and later on, Brown's boss Henry Fairfield Osborne sent Brown back to the same site to try to get more of it. That was in 1905. At the end of 1905, Osborne names the skeleton that Brown had discovered in 1902 and collected more of in 1905 as the type specimen of a brand new species that he calls Tyrannosaurus rex in 1905. And so in 1908, Barnum Brown was continuing to prospect, in Montana, in the Hell Creek Formation of Montana, or what would become the Hell Creek Formation of Montana. And
because back then they called it what?
I can't remember, maybe the Laramie beds or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old, so I don't remember personally. But so Brown in 1908 finds a better T-Rex skeleton, a more complete one that has a complete skull and a lot of vertebral column and pelvis. And this is a famous specimen, AMNH 5027.
Yeah, 5027. You have definitely seen this, chat. If you've ever seen the Jurassic Park logo, that's the same silhouette. That's actually taken from Osborne's 19...
it could be, there's a longer paper in 1917.
I think that's
might
it,
be
yeah.
That one. Okay.
Yeah.
So Brown ultimately finds multiple T-Rex specimens. And at the end of the 1930s, beginning of the 1940s, he'd gone from kind of field collector, which is what he was at the beginning of the 20th century, to head of paleontology at the American Museum. And he decided to sell the holotype specimen of Tyrannosaurus rex. Certainly part of the rationale there was that he had this more complete specimen, AMNH 5027. This is the one that's mounted at the American Museum. You can, you can still see it on display if you go there, and it to this day is one of the best specimens of T-Rex ever found. So the Carnegie Museum where I work bought the holotype specimen of Tyrannosaurus rex in 1941 for a grand total of $7,000. So in today's money, $7,000 is worth maybe 130, 140, 150 grand, something like that. But I mean,
that's nothing.
I was gonna say I haven't priced out a Tesla lately, but I think a high-end Tesla would cost more than that.
Yeah,
now.
It would.
So, like, you know, so for the price of an Elon Musk car in 1941, the Carnegie Museum bought that. Now, admittedly,
the original Tyrannosaurus
Rex, the name-bearing specimen of T-Rex, the holotype, the gold standard for the most famous dinosaur on the planet.
Yep.
The Carnegie Museum bought it for $7,000 in 1941. And it's, now admittedly, it's definitely not the most complete skeleton of T-Rex ever found. It's not even in probably the top 25 most complete ever found. But it is the holotype. It's the name bearer, and there's bones represented from all major regions of the skeleton. So the skull, the vertebral column, the limbs, and the individual bone preservation is gorgeous in the holotype. It's an absolutely beautiful specimen. They did a really, really nice job preparing it back at the AMNH. Now, this is where the story gets controversial.
Yeah, because the version that I always heard is that Osborne and other people at the AMNH were concerned that if you had the world's only 2 T-Rex specimens in New York City in the museum, and if the Germans were to bomb New York City during the war, that they would be lost forever.
Right, so this is the account that the AMNH will tell you to this day. And I cannot say for absolute certain that Brown didn't have that in the back of his mind. Osborne himself, I think, either died or retired by this time. So Brown was in charge now when this transaction went down.
Yeah.
So there's, you know, again, I can't say for sure that wasn't in Brown's mind when he made this decision. But you have to remember, well, first and foremost, we have letters from Brown to my distant ancestor at the Carnegie Museum, a guy named Pop K, J. Leroy K, where Brown basically says, "Hey, do you want to buy a T-Rex?"
Hey,
and
kid,
he mentioned, he doesn't say anything about World War II. This all happened in the late 30s, earliest 40s, maybe 1940 to 1941, but it wasn't any. The purchase was completed in January 1941. America didn't even enter the war till December 1941. Of course, Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941.
Yeah.
So this was all done before the U.S. was even in the war. On top of that, again, Brown's letters, they basically just say, "I want to make some money for my department." They don't say anything about saving one of the T-Rexes from Nazi bombs.
Right, yeah.
On top of that, Pittsburgh in 1941 is not like some podunk town. I mean, this is the center of the steel industry. Steel,
it would have been a very valid military.
It would have been on the hit list for the Nazis for sure.
Yeah.
And so, the story, the oft repeated sold to Pittsburgh to save from Nazi bombs.
Yeah.
That story comes from Brown's memoir, which he wrote himself in the 1950s.
Which one was that?
I don't remember what it's called, but he definitely says in his memoir, written in the 50s, so more than 10 years after the fact, he says, he relays this account that we sold the type specimen to the Carnegie Museum to save, in the event that New York was bombed, at least one of the 2 specimens would survive. And again, I can't say for sure that Brown wasn't thinking that in the back of his mind.
But it sounds unlikely.
But we have no evidence of it, let's just say. And so I think probably the story is simpler than what's often related. And I think what Brown says in his letters is, "I want to make some money for my department. Do you want to buy a T-Rex?" And it's possible that maybe he had some remorse, or maybe caught some flack for this afterwards, and potentially did a little bit of revisionist history. Now, I refuse to throw Brown under the bus here, because he gave our museum an incredible deal. I mean, he knew he could probably get more for it elsewhere, but he knew it was going to a good home. So. I'm probably causing an uproar in the chat, for disparaging Barnum Brown.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, but
not everybody in here is like a paleo person. In fact, most people are not. But
So what we have evidence for from the time is Brown wanted to make some money for his department, and he sold us the holotype of Tyrannosaurus Rex. So
simple.
But I mean, for whatever the motivation that he had, I mean, we're really glad to have it. We also have the holotype of Diplodocus carnegii, which, if you ask a lot of Europeans, that's the most famous dinosaur in the world. So, so we've got them both.
That's pretty darn cool. Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's pretty awesome.
It definitely is. Yeah. You might be biased, but that's objectively true. That is pretty darn cool. Yeah. No, Brown actually write a memoir for himself?
I think it's like an autobiography or a memoir or something.
Really?
I'm almost sure. Yeah,
because his wife wrote a sort of a memoir about her life with him. I haven't gotten to that part yet.
I'm almost sure.
Yeah.
So
I've got his biography down there in the bag.
Okay, so if you have the, do you have the Lowell Dingus biography?
Yeah, it's down there in the bag. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think
I haven't gotten to that.
Whatever it was where Brown says this, Lowell cites that, and so we can look at that and see what it.
Okay,
what it
I
was.
should.
But I'm almost sure it's Brown wrote like some kind of autobiography or memoir or something in the 50s.
Interesting. I need to check that out. There's another one called Bones for Barnum Brown, but that was Roland T. Bird's memoirs.
Right.
Which is kind of weird that the name in the title is not his own.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Brown wrote Bones for Roland T. Bird. And Roland Bird is famous for discovering Paluxy River tracks.
Yeah. And he was motorcycle camping at the time. He had this big tricked out, I think it was I don't know if it was an Indian or Harley Davidson, with a big sidecar on it, but the sidecar was all of his field gear.
No way.
And there was a pop-out tent and stuff, and...
That sounds a little bit like a souped-up Toyota Prius.
There you go. I don't know if that quite compares to a Toyota Prius in terms of...
Did the listeners know about your field vehicle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, drove that out today.
I'm in awe of Danning's field vehicle. in a very serious way. It's awesome.
It is, yeah, I can't lie, it is pretty cool. I don't know, it kind of tickles me that I have something that's fairly unique like that. People are surprised to hear, oh, you got here in that? You know?
I actually, I wasn't super surprised to see it, in park next to the other.
Because there were some other, sedans up there,
yeah,
I think,
exactly.
When you got here. But I took that on some of, the forest roads and stuff up here, pretty rough terrain. And it does pretty well.
Well, again, you've, as Han Solo would say, met a lot of special modifications yourself.
Oh, yeah. She may not look like much, kid, but she's got it where it counts. Speaking of Star Wars, this is years ago when I got the vehicle. Chat's like, you have to name it. And so I tried to come up with a Star Wars-esque name for it. And so, the Prius's official name is the Slate Vindicator.
Okay. Wow. That sounds like, what is Boba Fett's ship called? Slave One.
Yeah.
And what is the Mandalorian's ship? I can't remember. Doesn't it? He has two of them though in the show.
Oh, I don't remember.
Gets blown up.
Yeah.
I don't remember either, but fun Star Wars fact: the Crate Dragon is quite possibly, and quite probably actually, based on
Dippy,
a
right?
poor replica of Diplodocus carnegie.
Yeah. I think, didn't Matt Wadel and Mike Taylor write about that?
They did. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And I kind of took it I tried to kind of pick up where they left off and try to gather additional evidence for it. So I wrote a little blog about it too.
Nice.
On the Carnegie Museum site.
Well, there's some other Star Wars paleo connections. I'm trying to remember. Joe Johnston came out to the field with us a few times. He used to come out all the time to
the MOR sites?
Yeah. So we got to meet him, and that was pretty cool. The guy who invented AT-ATs and
that's super
Ewoks and Boba Fett and everything else.
Yeah.
Cool guy. Really down to earth.
Isn't the old story the AT-ATs are based on Volucatherium or Indricatherium, the giant hornless rhinos?
I've heard people say that, and I've also heard people say that they're based on the shipping container cranes at the Port of Oakland.
Oh, that's home. Cool. Oh, no way.
So that's the apocryphal story in the Bay. You hear this all the time in the Bay Area, and apparently it's not true.
Huh.
But, but I got to meet the elephants, who... Well, when they were doing the stop-motion animation for the AT-ATs in The Empire Strikes Back, they did a screen test with an elephant where they painted lines on its legs and dots for the joints.
Yeah.
So to try and get the walk cycle right for it.
Yeah.
So that was the elephant that used to be in Vallejo, California, in the Bay Area at an animal park called Marine World.
Okay.
And
we had Marine Land near where I grew up. I wonder if it's the same franchise.
Maybe. It's probably not. Marine World was a weird one-off kind of a thing. And later Six Flags bought it.
Okay.
I think it's mostly roller coasters now. I don't know if they have many.
Yeah, Marine Land was in Toronto. It might still exist, but I don't think so.
Huh.
Or near Toronto? Niagara Falls, maybe?
Yeah. It was called Marine World Africa USA.
Okay.
It started off as like a marine park in the South Bay. Then they moved to the North Bay, and they added a bunch of like African wildlife.
Okay.
And, yeah, I loved going there when I was a kid.
Yeah, those kinds of experiences are really, I think a lot of paleo and nature nerds can cite, kind of formative experiences like that.
And they had a like an animatronic dinosaurs thing. I think it was through Dynamation. And Jim Kirkland went there at one point.
Oh, okay.
For like ribbon cutting ceremony or something like that.
Oh, no way.
And apparently Jack Horner went the year before.
Okay.
And I've heard, I don't know if this is, this is an apocryphal story, but I heard that like in lieu of payment for that, he asked, like instead of getting paid, that he be allowed to swim with the orcas for like an hour or something.
Who?
Jack Horner.
Jack Horner? Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean...
I've never asked him about it, but... Oh, I got one, thanks.
Oh.
Yeah.
How often, when you were out with the MOR people, how often was Jack himself there?
Not very often.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he would... kind of towards the end of his career.
Yeah. The heat would get to him after a while.
Yeah.
But he did come out prospecting for a few days in 2012, my second field season out there. We were in the lower Hell Creek, which has a reputation for being pretty sparse.
Oh, okay.
Like, you don't find stuff very often, but if you do, it's usually pretty good.
Cool.
And he was out there for like one afternoon and found like 4 sites, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So we were digging at those for the rest of the summer.
Nice. It's like, I'll just come out and get you guys started.
Exactly.
Yeah. Give you something to do.
Let me see if we got any other questions. Jim was talking about Roland T. Bird riding his motorcycle with the sidecar on the back roads of the Navajo Nation.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Oh, we've got a viewer who watches with his pet bird, and he says, when I signed in on my phone, Luigi, the bird, went over and gave Danny a kiss. Aww.
Dude, unresistible.
Seen pictures of this bird. He's very cute, and he's got like a little plastic theropod dinosaur that he likes to hang on to.
Oh, no
He'll like
way.
flip over on his back and like
mama.
Yeah. Oh, we got a science question from Anodyne Quinine. Are fossils in this region encased in nodules like ammonites?
In
some cases, yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't know enough about this formation yet to really say, but I mean, so far the stuff I've seen in the ground is not in concretions, the way that the way that ammonites often are, but it is absolutely true that you can find dinosaurs in concretions. That's the way we find them in Antarctica. That's the way we find them in Australia, in some places in Australia. So yeah, sometimes that is the case. So far here, again, I haven't seen that yet, but doesn't mean it can't happen.
We do get plant fossils in, well, not in concretions, I guess, but in big blocky sandstone chunks.
But yeah, the thinking is the decaying organic matter triggers some kind of change in the chemistry of the sediment around it, and that leads to hardening of changing the chemistry, making the rock, the sediment as it turns to rock, it becomes harder than the rock around it. And don't ask me for the details of that because I'll just make them up.
I don't know if anybody really understands it all that well.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you remember Willow, the little dinosaur with a heart?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's a Thessalosaurus specimen that they some people had claimed had a fossilized heart in the chest because there's this big ironstone concretion in there, and they even like CAT scanned it and claimed to find
chambers.
Chambers and a complex aorta or something like that.
Yeah.
And then other researchers pushed back on it, and now I guess some people are saying that maybe that ironstone concretion did form.
Oh, that's
because maybe there was like a really a heart there with a lot of iron.
That's sure. I mean, yeah.
So I don't know.
I think that we're finding that soft tissues are way more prevalent than we thought. In general, and so. I wouldn't see any reason why it would be impossible. I would call myself agnostic, I guess, on that. But
yeah, I don't have a horse in that fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you said Willow for a second, I thought you were going to talk about the movie.
The movie? No.
The movie Willow?
I'm not familiar with that. No.
Really? It's like George Lucas's knockoff Lord of the Rings. It's got Warwick Davis as Willow. He's like this. He's a little tiny. He's a Nelwyn, so he's the hero. He's kind of like the Hobbit in the movie. Yeah. Anyway, interesting. I'm sure people in the chat have seen Willow.
I've never even heard of this. That's
directed
nuts.
by Ron Howard.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. This is a classic in my family. 80s.
Bizarre. I thought Howard the Duck was obscure.
Howard the Duck is an incredible concept for a movie.
I've never seen it, but I've seen...
I haven't either. I will say that when I was a kid...
Tonally, it seems very weird.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's like a romance involved, kind of, with the alien duck and Leah Thompson, I think.
Is a young Val Kilmer in Willow?
Yes, he is.
Okay, we're getting some of that from the chat.
Yeah, Mad Mardigan. Yep. I always knew you'd end up in a crow's cage.
Speaking of young Val Kilmer, I think his first ever role is a movie called Top Secret. You ever heard of that?
Dimly.
It's this like what would you call it? I guess like a screwball comedy in the style of like Airplane or something.
Okay.
But in my opinion, like 10 times funnier.
Okay.
Just completely bonkers, off the wall, like lots and lots of really difficult to put together visual gags.
Okay.
If you like that kind of comedy, it's just nuts. And like it's a really weird film in terms of its concept, because like it's like a World War II movie, except it's set in Eastern Europe, but like all of the Germans it's still like Nazi uniforms and stuff, and it doesn't make any sense at all, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Like as if somebody with a very poor knowledge of German history was writing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then also it's like a 1950s or 60s like surf movie with all of these like musical interludes and stuff. It's bizarre, but it's hilarious. And pretty crass at times.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, give us some more science questions, chat.
No, they want to hear more about Willow. Not the dinosaur. Not the dinosaur with the heart.
I was thinking that was Denver Fowler used to talk about this movie with like a giant rat, and Michael Jackson sang like the song at the end. He would play the song for us all the time, and I want to say that was Will, but it can't have been that. No, it's not.
It's
it had like a short one-word title that was like a name.
Oh my God.
But it was like a kid who...
There?
Yeah.
You don't know? Okay, that sounds like something you would know.
It was, I think I remember, I've never seen it, but like the concept was like a kid who's friends with this like giant killer rat. Somebody in chat will know what this is. Okay. Oh, Ben, that's it. Yeah, it's called Ben. Thank you,
chat. The two of us need look no more.
I never saw it.
Yeah. There's a song that might be Michael Jackson that goes something like, "Ben, the two of us need look no more."
I think that's probably it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a really sentimental sounding song.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, there it is. That's the connection. Ben was a sequel to Willard.
Ah.
Which I haven't seen. I hear Willard and I think Apocalypse Now.
I was just thinking, like, what movies have giant rats in them? Like, The Princess Bride has rodents of unusual size.
Yeah, that scared me as a kid. Yeah.
And, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splinter is a giant mutated rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant rats.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be a topic of conversation.
No.
I just was trying to I was trying to figure out what they were talking about.
We got a science question.
Okay.
Two science questions from Anodyne Quining. Are you sorting the rocks somehow, or what you're looking at for when you crack them apart? Yeah, so if we've got a big class like this, big like that, you want to make sure there's nothing. There could be plant material in there.
Yeah.
Maybe there could be a crocodile tooth, or who knows,
right. And obviously, smashing them is not an ideal way to find things, but we also have a lot of rock to move and not a lot of time to do it.
Exactly.
So we're trying to be as efficient as possible. And there is such thing as glue. So, if I break this and there happens to be a croc tooth in it, we can hopefully, glue it back together at least to some degree.
We can rebuild it. We have the technology.
Right. And I think that's better. Although it's not ideal, it's better than not finding it at all.
Yeah, for sure.
So here we go.
And 99 point however many percent.
Yeah.
You know, it'll have nothing in it, but.
So this just has some plant stems in it, and according to our paleobotanical colleagues, our fossil plant experts, they can't really do much with this sort of thing. So we haven't been able, we don't typically save it. I did find earlier today, I found a little tiny leaf as I was breaking open these rocks, so I saved that, and I'm going to show it to you.
Yeah, that's right. That's really pretty. Yeah. I've been nervous we're going to accidentally discard it.
I know. Yeah, actually, I should bring it to Mandy.
And then we had a question: where do the rocks end up after we crack them open? Over there.
And
they go down the hill.
Down the hill, yeah.
The scree pile.
So I don't know if anybody can see this, but
we'll put it right up close, like a couple inches away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can see that. That's a little tiny leaf that I, as I was breaking open one of these rocks, I found it. It's looks a little bit to me like could be a bit of a conifer, so a type of gymnosperm tree, potentially.
Yeah, maybe a little bit further. I told you to go too close.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
People in the chat are saying back a little.
How's that? Yeah. Here, I'll just go forward and back, although I can't see what they can see, so.
It's like an infinity focus lens, just like a fisheye kind of deal. Oh, and they see it. Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's I think our best plant fossil from this site, and that's not saying much, but yeah.
This is not a plant site, so to have any plant material at all that's worth looking at is pretty cool.
But it is pretty cool. This tree, the tree or whatever it was, herb that dropped this, this landed in this pond or lake not too long before the dinosaur did. So.
Yeah. And we got a question. Metasequoia? Question mark? We'll see what Mandy says. Yeah. Oh, and Colin's in chat. How's the site looking today? It's looking good. Yeah. We're mostly working on just kind of clearing away rock so we can get this parietal jacketed tomorrow. But yeah, it's good to see you, Colin. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the air conditioning.
In a bathroom.
Yeah. In a bathroom. Yeah. Air-conditioned bathroom. Double whammy. And would you expect to run into any other animal fossils here, or just the dino? No, we've got turtle here, too. Yeah. Some little bits of trionychid turtle, it looks like. So like a soft-shelled turtle that lived in the same environment. Yeah. And Jim says cypress or sequoia? Could be. Yeah, I mean, you'd know better than I would, Jim. Obviously. And question, what's your favorite proper science movie where the science is solid enough?
Jurassic Park.
That's an answer, yeah.
Yeah, that's a movie.
I usually think of about the portrayal of scientists in a movie, or the portrayal of science in general. So I could really recommend, I think it came out in 2012, Contagion, which saw a resurgence in popularity at the start of COVID. But I think the portrayal of science and scientists in that movie is pretty excellent. The Center for Disease Control actually, I think they had someone consult on the script and maybe on the film production as well. And then also, I've mentioned this before, but the movie Don't Look Up, I think has a very realistic portrayal of scientists and science, and hopefully, not hopefully, it is unfortunately a pretty realistic portrayal of U.S. government as well. But yeah. It is the correct answer, says Jonesy the cat. Oh, you mean Jurassic Park is the correct answer?
Damn right.
Yeah. Yeah. And interesting, Moonrise Rabbit. I'd never heard of that before. Huh. Spiffiness says Don't Look Up was depressing. Well, I found it really scary, honestly.
What was Don't Look Up?
So that's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, and they're astronomers, and they discover this comet that's headed for Earth, and they're trying to warn people, and trying to warn the president, and it I won't give it away, but doesn't go too well.
Ah, cool.
Really, it's a comedy.
KPG Extinction Part 2.
Oh, it's worse.
Worse.
If you can believe that, yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
You can tell them if they want to come over here, we can find stuff in
And how many... Oh, Sogenbar, that's a fantastic question. I was just talking about this with Matt the other day. How many paleontologists did Jurassic Park create, like, as a cultural phenomenon? And it's a lot. It's a lot. There was something like maybe 40 or 50 dinosaur paleontologists on the planet before Jurassic Park, and that number, like, quadrupled in the couple of years after that. Jim Kirkland could tell you much more about this, and I'll be talking with him about that later on in the summer, too. But, yeah. Yeah. You might have some stories about that, Matt, about Jurassic Park's influence on, like, dinosaur paleontology and the amount of funding and, like, job openings and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint, like, a direct effect a lot of the time, but
yeah.
I was, for a long time, I was the president of a little nonprofit called the Jurassic Foundation.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
From
they've given us some funding before for for field work up in the Hell Creek, I think.
Oh, well, that was, I might have made that decision, potentially.
Nice. 2012, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, that was when I was president. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We got a Leptoceratops bone bed out of that.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay. I think I remember that proposal, actually.
Yeah.
I think
we'd applied for a grant from, like, the Ceratopsian Fund or something.
Oh.
But they only ever gave the money to other Canadians. So,
I thought you were going to say, like, we applied to the Ceratopsian Fund and they gave it to, like, dig up a mammoth. You know what I mean? Or something, yeah.
Leptoceratops it's not a real ceratops, you know?
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, that's really, actually, that animal is not common.
There's this, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
There's a secret to finding them. I can't say it
live,
but yeah.
Oh, I have, all right, I'm not going to say it either, but I have a thought. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so I was the president of the Jurassic Foundation from 2009 to 2016, and my good friend Lindsay Zano took over for me back then, and I still owe her beer every time I see her because of that, or wine. She drinks, I think she likes classier stuff than me a lot of the time, but sorry, trying to find my oyster knife. There it is. But yeah, so the Jurassic Foundation was established with a donation from Universal Studios and Amblin Entertainment. So that was a direct contribution of the studio that made Jurassic Park, to the science of paleontology. And in 2015, I think it was shortly after the first Jurassic World came out, we got another big donation, and that was actually what allowed me to quote unquote retire from being president, because it was all volunteer work. Like like we didn't get paid for it or anything.
Right.
But it was
like so many things in paleontology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a significant amount of work, and it was mostly just done out of goodwill to the field. I think. But
salute to you for doing that.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, seriously. We get some paleo salutes going in the chat.
It was a cool opportunity. Yeah. Tell them thanks.
Yeah.
Or I can tell them thanks. Thank you. There were a bunch of us that are involved with that, and there's a bunch that are still involved with it. And we sort of the last again, the thing that allowed me to quote unquote retire was getting another big donation from Universal to allow the foundation to keep going for a while more. So,
nice.
And hopefully there'll be more donations in the future. Suffice it to say that we're trying. And Lindsay is mostly, in charge of that now. But
wow, she's got a lot of. Jim says, what do you say about Lindsay? She's everywhere doing everything.
Yes, she is. She's an amazing human being, just a really wonderful person who somehow manages to accomplish about 10 times the rest, 10 times what I do, certainly. So.
And then we had another question in the chat for Matt. What's the oldest bone that you found?
The oldest bone? Let's see. I've worked mostly in the Cretaceous. I have worked a little in the Jurassic, and so I would say probably the oldest dinosaur bones I've found are Upper Jurassic, probably Morrison Formation. So
I think that's probably the same for me.
Yeah. So the Morrison is the rock unit that yields most of the famous Jurassic dinosaurs from North America. So think like Apatosaurus and Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, Allosaurus, Stegosaurus, things like that. And I've worked there a little bit and found some stuff there. I don't think I found anything earlier than that though. Like I don't think I've ever worked in the Triassic or.
I haven't. Yeah, not yet. One day, inshallah. But yeah. I also noticed you said Apatosaurus and not Brontosaurus, and that's something that I, do too.
Yeah, I mean, I would say everybody agrees that Apatosaurus is valid. Not everybody agrees that Brontosaurus is valid.
Yeah, so that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so when I mention an Apatosaurine diplodocid sauropod, Apatosaurus is the one I say.
Yeah. I guess there is an argument for saying Brontosaurus, just that, like, the general public will know what you're talking about, but
yeah,
it is also, like, we can fight the good fight and try to get people to learn about Apatosaurus. And
yeah,
that's what I usually try to do.
I do often, when I'm describing a sauropod to somebody, any sauropod, I often say, think like a Brontosaurus.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
And
then if they... I don't know, sometimes it can backfire, though, because they go, well, didn't I hear that Brontosaurus didn't exist?
Yeah,
and then you get into a big conversation about that.
Yeah, and at my museum, it gets conflated, too, with the story of... you might know of the... In fact, you probably do know the story, Danny, but the... the fact that
they had the Camarasaurus type head.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It predates that though. It was Elmer Riggs in 1903.
Oh, I think, long before. Exactly. Yeah. It really has nothing to do with the Camarasaurus head. But yeah, fun shout out to my own museum. But that was figured out by Jack McIntosh and Dave Berman based on specimens in our collection.
Like in like 76.
It's close to that. It's some. I want to say 78 is this number that sticks in my head, but.
What do you know about Jack McIntosh?
Oh,
McIntosh.
McIntosh, and McIntosh. I knew him quite well. He helped. I've known him since grad school. He was actually I met him when I was an undergrad. Believe it or not, he was on a field trip to a site in Wyoming in the Lance Formation, so in a way full circle that I'm here now, Upper Cretaceous of Wyoming. When I was 19, I think I was volunteering as an undergrad, and Jack McIntosh was one of the people that came through on like a conference tour, like a post-conference field trip or whatever, and he was a super sweet guy then, and Jack, one of the greatest things about Jack is he always treated you, regardless of who you were, he treated you like a colleague,
That's what Kerry Woodruff said, too.
Yeah, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. He didn't care how many letters were behind your name, where you came from, anything like that. He just, if you were interested in sauropods, Jack wanted to talk to you. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
And he maintained, I think I last saw him probably 5 years before he passed away, and the last time I saw him, he still had that childlike enthusiasm that he was so famous for. He was, without exaggeration, one of the nicest people you will ever meet. So excited, so enthusiastic, so willing to share his vast knowledge with anybody. And when I would be like, hey Jack, I don't think Rebbachisaurus garasbe and Rebbachisaurus tamasinensis are the same thing. He's like, whoa, who is this dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just somebody that if you had an interest in sauropods, Jack was interested in talking to you. If you had like an in-depth interest, you were his best friend immediately. Like you would have to, like grad school me would have to be like, okay Jack, I'm gonna go get a beer now. Like I need to talk to other people. It was just he's just an absolutely amazing guy. One of the sort of failures of my career is that I tried to get I nominated Jack for the Romer Simpson medal, this thing we talked about before. And I got a bunch of letters of support, and I wanted to give it to him in when SVP was in Pittsburgh in 2010. Because I thought that would have been really fitting. Jack was a native Pittsburgher. He grew up looking at our Apatosaurus and our Diplodocus, and that's one of the major reasons why he got so interested in sauropods, and he was absolutely invaluable to the Carnegie Museum. He basically worked as a curator for free almost in a lot of ways. And unfortunately, they picked somebody else that year, and I've always been bummed about it ever since.
What year was that?
2010.
2010. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who got it that year.
I think it might have been one of the Mongolian paleontologists, maybe Renchen Barsbold. Who obviously deserving as well, but I just I think the campaign to get Jack that medal, I think it met with it met with a lot of support, but there was also a little bit of resistance too. And I think the reason was that Jack was, in essence, an avocational paleontologist.
I was going to ask you to talk about that.
His day job was Jack's day job was a professor of physics.
Yep.
At Wesleyan University in Connecticut. So he was. We were joking about another individual being a Renaissance man. Jack actually was a Renaissance man in the sense that he was, without question, the world's expert in sauropod dinosaurs. But also, again, his day job was physicist. So,
right.
Yeah.
I think that's also objective proof that dinosaurs are cooler than physics.
Well, I mean, he got paid to do one, and he didn't get paid to do the other. So.
Yeah. But I think I remember Jim saying that he really wanted to be a dinosaur paleontologist. And
I think that's
they
true.
Wouldn't hire him to do that.
Well, I think Jack had he grew up in an unfortunate time for dinosaur paleontology when there weren't a lot of. I mean, it's not like there are tons of jobs in paleontology to this day, but
there's more than there have been in the past.
Yeah, there are more than there were, and
there are more working dinosaur paleontologists today than I think at any time in the past.
That's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true. But he. So even, I think, first and foremost, there weren't a lot of jobs to begin with, but that was definitely when Jack was kind of, coming up through the system. That was kind of the era when, fossil mammals are super interesting and dinosaurs are super boring. Don't bother studying them. You'd have to be a nut job to pay any attention to them at all.
Right.
And of course we now know that that's not true.
No, the mammals are the boring ones.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything.
Just kidding.
No, mammals.
I'm just being.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think Jack grew up in a time when, or was coming up through the academic ranks when dinosaurs weren't thought to be very interesting, and I think that was maybe part of the reason why he went into physics as his profession, and then maintained, effectively his sauropod research was a hobby.
Jim says in the chat. 2 Cedar Mountain Formation sauropod species are named for Jack.
That is true.
Brontomerus and...
Abitosaurus.
Yeah. I didn't know that off the top of my head, so thank you, Jim. Yeah. Brontomerus, that's...
Thunder thighs.
Thunder thighs, yeah.
Yeah, I think some people think that may not be a valid, named on enough material.
It's mostly pelvic and hind limb, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say there's definitely hind limb in there.
Yeah, there has to be.
But yeah, for those that aren't getting the reference, thunder thighs literally means, Brontomerus literally means thunder thighs.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Let's see. Lan ID says, guys, be careful. I heard people sometimes find dinosaurs out where you're at. It's a good thing we're just doing geology here and studying wasps and lichen.
And apologies that it's not particularly scintillating entertainment right now because we're not working on a bone, but we're doing something that's equally important. We're trying to get the quarry to the stage where this bone can be taken out.
Yep.
So now, of course, we're hoping to find stuff as we go along, but so far we haven't. So, yeah.
That's why we're working like slowly with hand tools like this instead of using, picks and
exactly.
shovels. Yeah.
But we're also, I think, working a little more quickly than we would if we were right next to the bone.
Exactly.
I definitely am. I'm definitely working more quickly than I was yesterday when I was in an area where I didn't know whether there would be bone or not. I don't. Obviously, I don't know that here either, but it's likely that we're below the bone layer here. So, based on everything we've seen so far,
I think the lowest bone we've got so far is where was that, Nick?
It was from that big jacket.
Right.
There was 4. We had 1. There was 2 on the side, 3, which we thought was the ribs, but it looks more like a frill. And then when we flipped it, there's
stuff underneath.
Yeah.
So we've got a pretty tall bone layer in there. Yeah.
So I think at least that was the lowest part, but I think it was just because those were in association with each other.
Yeah.
Ooh, visitors. I think maybe the plant people
are
done getting the crap kicked out of them. Yeah. It's really windy on the other side of the hill where some of the other team is working.
Yeah, honestly, we're lucky over here. We don't have it nearly as bad. Skull Ridge was the worst back when we were working that last year.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You're right at the top of the hill. Yeah.
Oh yeah. How's it going over there? We got the stream going too, Whitney.
What?
We got the stream going too.
Oh wow.
So if you want to say hi. But here's our visiting paleobotanist. Whitney, I don't know your last name.
Greaves.
Whitney Greaves.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, how is the paleobotany going over there?
Oh, it's great.
I'm sure the wind is not so great, but
yeah, it's getting really hard to work over there.
Yeah.
We're trying to wrap plants in toilet paper, and it's just like running to chase after toilet paper.
Oh yeah.
And hats and.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. But I heard you guys had something over here.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll go get it.
We were wondering maybe Metasequoia, hopefully, rubbing our hands together.
We've got Metasequoia over there already.
Nice,
so.
nice.
Mandy thinks not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Oh, and people are saying hi, Whitney. Can you talk? Are you allowed to talk about the movie?
Yeah, I can now.
Mention it? Yeah. Okay.
I was part of I was in the background of a short little IMAX movie that's coming out this Friday called T-Rex. I helped dig the plants that were 2 meters above the T-Rex. And I was with the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and
so yeah,
I don't know what else to
hopefully
say.
you show up in the movie. Yeah.
I'll be maybe in the background. If you see somebody with toilet paper flying in the background, that's me. I'm wrapping plants.
Yeah, and I already love that movie because the final scene the final scene of the trailer I saw is the T-Rex eating a dinosaur that I named Anzu Wiley.
Wow.
So I'm not excited about that. Our museum's sister museum, the Carnegie Science Center, is going to, I think, probably eventually have this.
Nice.
And I'll probably have to go introduce it, and I'm gonna basically complain a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow.
I never heard of this. What is this?
This is
the movie?
The other half isn't
Yeah.
quite
So there's a new IMAX film coming out about T-Rex, and there's a lot of CG and apparently some scenes of some actual excavations. So
exactly.
yeah.
I would say that this is
like
a small bit of a fern. I don't think this is Metasequoia, but it's still very cool.
Fern is still cool. Yeah. Got a gymnast fern. Yeah.
I don't know for sure it's small, but I would definitely wrap that up. I have toilet paper. Do you want me to wrap it up right now?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, and no, not stream sniped, and no. So Whitney was just working over at the other side over the hill, and we not a random interloper here. She's with us.
Yeah, we don't even know her.
I'm just wondering.
It's really common in dinosaur digs. Like the paleobotany people, they kind of follow us around, and they just show up unexpectedly.
Just kind of burst through the door like Cosmo Kramer,
right? Or the Kool-Aid Man. Yeah.
Someone should do like a mashup of those two someday.
Yeah. What did the Kool-Aid Man say? Wasn't it like...
Oh yeah.
I didn't like him when I was a kid. I think it actually...
Just that property destruction bothered you?
Yeah, or something. I don't know. It's like, come on, Kool-Aid Man. Somebody's going to have to clean that up.
Also, look, how delicate are you? You're just like a glass pitcher with arms and legs?
And you're going to run through a wall to give people part of yourself?
Doesn't seem very sensible, you know?
Yeah.
Bad example for our nation's children.
Exactly.
Does he run out of life fluid when his...
Right, because he's giving himself like Kool-Aid. Yeah, it's like you. Yeah, exactly. Like the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid is like his lifeblood. Yeah.
Does he just die when he when he runs to the wall and it just spills over?
That's why you got to tell your parents to never run out of Kool-Aid because you'll be.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But we're taking his Kool-Aid.
I know. Well, I mean, but if you
go to the store and buy more.
I was gonna say if you replenish it, then. Here, Whitney, show the group how you do this, actually. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So this is the standard for collecting fossil plants like this?
Yeah.
Nice. This is your version of jacketing, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Am I in the camera here?
It's a fisheye lens, so you're in frame right there, yeah.
Great.
I can get out of the way, too.
Oh, no, it's okay. So we just use non-perforated toilet paper. That's the biggest thing.
Industrial strength.
Yeah, industrial size at least. It doesn't have to be industrial strength. It'd be easier without the wind, but...
Doesn't have to be double or triple ply.
No. And then we just wrap it until it's like a soft ball.
Nice.
It has to be able to, transport, and especially if it's thin, we do extra. But I'll show you how I start it, I guess.
That's beautiful work.
Thank you. So I find wherever the fossil is, which I've already lost on this one. Oh, right there. And then I usually take a bunch and I push it right on top of there, and then I start wrapping. And I'll just go until it's nice and fluffy, and then I'll tape it after, but this will take me a minute.
I think the ideal is that it doesn't like rip as you're doing it, right? Which is why you want unperforated.
Yeah. It'd be easy if there was no wind, but if this was perforated, it would just be dripping all over the place. And we kind of bunch it up in our hands as we go to kind of get it as
some extra cushion there.
Thick as possible.
Yeah. Nice. We've got 702 people watching right now, and they are enthralled.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, the technology.
I'm not making any toilet paper jokes or anything. Yeah. I'm so mature.
Oh, they definitely are.
Yeah, I can't let the industrial strength toilet paper one go.
Yeah, another Seinfeld reference. Can you spare a square?
Oh, nice.
But there are no squares on this.
Yeah.
So pointing that out,
right,
because
exactly.
it's non-perforated.
Yep, you can make whatever geometric shape you want.
We've got a question. How did the paleobotany community cope with the toilet paper rush going on in 2020?
Oh no, I wasn't involved yet.
Probably not a lot of field work going on.
I think in a totally serious, I think probably it wasn't that big of a problem because most people weren't doing field work.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one summer since 2011 that I didn't do paleo field work. And got a chatter. Earhell says, I feel like I'm sitting with the coolest kids. Well, you are. Yeah, welcome to the cool kids table.
I mean,
no one's ever said that.
I was gonna say
Twitch is a special place.
My high school graduating class would beg to differ.
I'm like, you should have told
but
my
look at you now,
that.
Yeah. Oh, what do you do? Investment banking? I'm digging up dinosaurs here.
Well, I'm ostensibly digging up dinosaurs, but I haven't found a bone yet. So.
Oh, we will. Even if you're not
sometimes I have the reverse magic touch. Luckily I've been in places a lot, or I'm like one of the PIs on expeditions where people find lots of cool stuff. But I hardly ever find it myself. So I get to do I still get to be involved in the sense that I help write the paper, or sometimes even lead writing the paper. But yeah, it's rare for me to find something spectacular myself. I had a few successes in Egypt. And I found occasionally some cool things in Antarctica, but yeah, if there's a spot in the quarry where there's no bone, it'll be the spot that I pick.
We'll keep that in mind, and we'll employ that strategically here.
Okay, yeah.
If we need to trench in a certain area.
Right, exactly. If you want to not find bone, just put me there. Yeah.
That's like one of my first dinosaurs I ever dug in 2011. That was the Yoshi's Strike site. Up in Garfield County, Montana, and I just kept finding bones in certain areas, and I was like a rookie on the crew. Okay. Really, really excited, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and eventually Lee Hall.
I know him very well.
He's like, Danny, just go over to the quarry wall over there, just dig over there.
Why? Because he didn't want you to find anything else?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, and then so I start digging in, and then there's, part of the tail.
Oh, no way. That's really funny.
One of the caudal chevrons, or something like that. And it's the one bone of the specimen's tail that we have.
Oh, wow.
We didn't have time to knock down that whole wall and get the rest of the tail, but it's probably still in there.
Do you guys happen to have any masking tape or a Sharpie? I packed mine all up in there.
We got a Sharpie for sure, yeah.
I have duct tape.
That's good enough.
Okay.
You got that, Nick?
Yeah, I got it.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, and then we've got Sharpies in there too. I tried to consolidate them so they should all be in the box or near the box in the action packer.
You can fix anything with duct tape.
And Paleontologist VA says when we pulled the bone block from Ashland in 2020, that was bone block. I think he's saying he knows you, Matt.
Does he mean Whitney?
No. He's in Virginia.
Oh.
I think I saw him on the news one time.
It might be Michael Stevens.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
I was not, I wasn't present or anything like that, but yeah, I know the guy who found
he's saying hi.
Yeah. Oh, hey Michael.
Yeah, and A. Jones says, do you stay in hotels or camp? No, we, it's a straight luxury experience, 4 seasons for us, you know, room service.
Yep.
We definitely don't have a camp just a few miles away where we're pooping into a bucket at night, you know, that kind of thing.
I live under a cave. When I get back, I put on a leopard loincloth and put a bone around my hair.
Nick doesn't even have a tent.
No.
We couldn't afford one, so.
No, and I just go full feral.
Yeah.
I'm doing some hunting and gathering later tonight, too.
What is the name of the site?
It's called Nick's Ceratopsian site.
Okay. That's funny
after
because
Nick Longrich.
I call it, I actually put it in my
Nick.
GPS as Nick Ceratops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah, really. No, I know.
No, but to answer your question earnestly, Chatters, we've got a camp going on, so we've got tents and nice kitchen tent. It's actually fairly posh as far as things go.
I would say it's one of the more posh camps that I've been a part of, but then, you know, it sounds like some of the ones you've been is like operations that have been going for years and years and years.
Sometimes, yeah. And then sometimes it's been much more sparse than this, depending on where we're at, so, yeah.
Oops.
Let's see. And what's the worst weather situation we've encountered while excavating a specimen?
Yesterday.
Yesterday for you?
No, I mean, I guess for me.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Just the
yesterday was
rain?
Yesterday was great.
Like I said, the worst was probably yesterday. I don't know.
Yeah.
First for me.
Oh, okay.
Cross your fingers. Pray that it continues to be so as you go out and do excavations.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you'll be very lucky.
Oh, let's see.
I'm trying to think.
Or no, never mind. It was like maybe a couple days before when it was just 96 and
When it was
no
really
wind.
hot. Yeah.
And the bugs were everywhere.
Here's the spec.
Thank you.
Let's see. I guess maybe we should qualify like worst weather in camp or worst weather in the field in general or worst weather at a quarry.
Do they mean like any quarry or like here in Wyoming?
I think probably in general, like in our over the course of our careers.
Okay. I mean, I've dug up dinosaurs in sandstorms in Egypt.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you don't last very long, but we try. I'm trying to think what I've never gotten like caught in a blizzard in Antarctica, but they happen. We definitely have had days that are so full of snow and wind that you can kind of work, but not really.
Yeah. It's like, why are you even out there?
Yeah. Patagonia, the big problem, I think I've mentioned this already, Patagonia, the big problem is wind. And we definitely, I can't say that we've ever gotten blown off the outcrop, but I do remember one day in Patagonia 24 years ago when it was so bad, it was so windy and so cold, it was snowy. This was again like a couple weeks after it was 90, so we weren't really prepared for it. And I definitely remember sitting in a slot canyon to get out of the wind with everybody on the team. It wasn't just me. We just kind of gave up, and we went and hid in a canyon and just drank whiskey all day. So
not the worst day necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stuff down there. Do you guys have room in your packs? There's some stuff left up there.
Cool.
I can take some stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're pretty full, but
yeah, we've got tomorrow as well.
Back. Well, it's just if it rains.
Smart. Yeah. Okay.
There isn't a lot. We took all the big ones and the heavy ones.
We've got a big, huge tarp over there. If you want to try and put a tarp over some of those specimens.
I feel like there aren't that many unless you guys have full packs already.
No, I don't.
I've definitely got room. Yeah.
Okay.
drinking a bunch of water during the day, they'll definitely lightens things up. So yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly just stuff that can stick into pockets and stuff.
Cool. I'll try and be over there at like 5:45 maybe.
Okay.
What time is it now?
It is,
Is it
5:05?
Really? That
Yeah,
late?
I know, right?
All right, we'll see you over there then.
Goodbye.
See you, Whitney. Good luck. Yeah. And let's see. Hanzo Life wants to know: are there places in the world where there aren't dinosaur fossils? Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Although
ocean basins.
Yeah, I mean, dinosaurs have been found on every continent. But there certainly are vast swaths of those continents where, there are, at the very least, there were no dinosaur bones, at the surface.
The upper Midwest jumps to mind, like
right, or
Michigan, Wisconsin.
Pennsylvania, for instance.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of really great fossil animals, but there's never been a single definitive dinosaur body fossil, so bone or tooth, found in Pennsylvania. There have been a few tracks found, but that's it.
Tracks, interesting.
Yeah, yep.
I guess that makes sense. Like Connecticut, you've got it's famous for that.
Yep, and it's the same, in a general sense, the same suite of rocks. Yeah, nice. It's the Newark supergroup.
Yeah.
Colin told me that there's some dinosaur tracks in Gettysburg.
Yeah, near Gettysburg is where they are. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. But yes, there are. I mean, presumably dinosaurs lived all around the world when they were alive, because we have their fossils from Antarctica, we have their fossils from the North Slope of Alaska, from Siberia. I mean, literally pole to pole. So, I would say dinosaurs probably lived everywhere. Where we find them today is where the rocks are the right age and the right type, and that's not everywhere. Yeah.
And I hasten to add also that dinosaurs were terrestrial animals,
right,
by and large,
yep.
almost entirely, like Hesperornithids accepted, I guess.
Right, if we don't count birds, then the most aquatic dinosaurs are probably things like Spinosaurus, and there's a couple of others. But for the most part, dinosaurs are land-living animals. So, so we wouldn't expect. That's a good point. And even in the Mesozoic, we wouldn't expect there to be dinosaurs far out to sea or anything like that.
Yep.
Unless they drowned and washed out there.
Yeah, which is where both of our named Californian dinosaurs come from. They were both bloatin' floats. Augustinolophus and Aletopelta, or Aletopelta.
I would say Aletopelta, but I've never. I don't know for sure.
Was it Wandering Shield? I think.
Yeah. And I think
Jim named that one, or was worked on it.
Yes, I think he's second author on the paper. I think
Jim
it's Tracy Ford.
And Ford. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool discovery. It's I mean, obviously California dinosaurs are extremely uncommon, but that's a cool story from a story of taphonomy. That's the study of what happens to a specimen between death and fossilization. And so this was actually, before it was fossilized, the carcass of this ankylosaur, this armored dinosaur, washed out to sea, sank to the ocean floor, and actually was there long enough before burial to become a reef. So there's actually oysters or something similar growing on this dinosaur skeleton. So some of the people out there have probably seen videos like Blue Planet, where they've got a whale fall, and all these things come and consume it over the course of many years, and maybe that was something like what was going on here. But yeah, and I guess a pro tip would be, with regard to dinosaur pronunciations, say it with confidence and nobody will question
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, unless you pronounce Diplodocus as Diplodocus, I'm going to come for you.
And then, that's right. Well, you would be going after basically everyone in England.
Everybody. I'm going to go and correct everybody.
One of my pet peeves, though, I guess the caveat there is, my pet peeve is when people call abelisaurids abelosaurids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so abelosaur...
So I've only recently cured myself of that.
Okay, so abelosaur was the common pronunciation for a long time. It's unquestionably wrong because Abelosaurus itself
is named after Victorio Abel, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep. And so it would be pronounced the way that his last name was pronounced. And I'm not a native Spanish speaker, obviously, but it would be much more likely to be Abel than Abil.
Yeah. He was like a historian or something?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
I remember being surprised by his occupation or whatever. I'm pretty sure he was...
Oh, you know what? You might be... Wait, which Abel did you say?
Victorio Abel? Is that right?
I thought it was Roberto, but...
it probably is.
I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Let me look up on Wikipedia.
I'm sure people out there can find out really fast. So
Roberto Abel.
Archaeopteryx or Archaeopteryx. That's one from Glenn he was talking about.
You're not coming up. Let me just look up a Bellosaurus.
Yeah, that's what I would, yeah.
That'll get me there faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Close your eyes next.
The generic name recognizes Roberto Abel as the discoverer of the type specimen.
Okay, so I was right. Okay.
And also as the former director of the Provincial Museum in Argentina.
Yeah, the Museo Provincial Carlos Ameghino.
No, Museum of Cipolletti, it says, in Argentina.
Ah, yeah, it's in the town of Cipolletti.
Gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know where I got the historian thing.
No, it's okay.
I'm wrong about that.
None of us is. I think you have a pretty damn good memory, Danny. I mean, none of us is totally perfect.
Yeah. Oh, Jim says.
Except Nick.
What do you mean?
There you go.
Am I perfect?
Yes.
In every way.
Yeah, exactly.
The hair is perfect.
Especially when you go feral and start catching rabbits.
I am unmatched. Like my kill rate is 100%. Except for fishing, I can't fish.
Jim says he had to talk Tracy Ford into prepping more of Aletta Pelta.
Oh, okay.
I guess that was interesting.
That's a cool backstory that I didn't know there.
And Raven the Regal's got a question that's relevant. Are there any reasons that you think the areas are like that with an absence of dinosaur fossils? Like were those areas inhospitable in the past, maybe? No. Here, I'll let you take this.
It's just that different areas around the Earth's surface have rocks exposed of different ages. So, sometimes we have, in places where there are Cenozoic rocks, so rocks from the age of mammals, there could well be, dinosaur-bearing beds underneath those. They're just deep, deep underground.
Yeah.
And in places where, like Western Pennsylvania, where I live, where if there ever were any Mesozoic, so age of dinosaur sediments, they've long since been eroded away. Mm-hmm. I don't know that anything significant would have been deposited there anyway, but yeah, it's basically, to put it in a short way, to find the dinosaurs, you got to find the rocks they're in, and you need to find dinosaurs in particular, you got to find rocks of as I said before, the right age and the right type.
And so, like if there's anybody who lives in, say, the upper Midwest watching, hopefully I don't know, people get into big fights about what constitutes the Midwest.
I'm not going there.
I don't have a horse in that fight. But let's say, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, that area.
Look out.
There would have been, oh wow.
We've got a major fault line
Nice.
Here. Hopefully there's nothing in this.
So there were certainly dinosaurs that lived in that part of the world.
Right.
And there were probably Mesozoic strata being laid down there, but those all got wiped clean by the glaciers. That's my understanding, at least, during those recent glaciations back in, like, the Pleistocene.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true for some places. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I definitely think we're well below the bone layer.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I think if I take a swath of rock off like this and there's nothing in it, I mean, I think that's
might as well move
it. Pretty good assumption.
Call this underburden.
It's funny. I was thinking that
really?
the other day. Yeah. I was thinking that earlier. Like I'm an underburden removal specialist. It's worth breaking up these blocks though, because this is the type of stuff that little piece of fern was in.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. The plant material gets thicker and more interesting as you get down into this level here.
Oh, and a couple minutes ago we just got a big raid from Dynamite Twins. Thank you for the raid. Welcome to Paleontologizing. We're out here digging up a horned dinosaur in Wyoming.
We need to change the word raid.
Are you okay?
Do you want me to call it, or?
Yeah, I might take Matt's phone with me. I'm going to check my backpack first, but...
Okay. Shoot. Anyway, thank you, Raiders, for the raid. Welcome to Paleontologizing. I'm Danny Anduza. This is Nick Hornacek and Matt Lamanna. Both these guys from Pittsburgh. And Matt's the could you call yourself the dinosaur curator of the Carnegie Museum?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I'm the...
Official title?
My official title is, buckle up, Mary R. Dawson, curator and head of vertebrate paleontology.
Nice, nice.
But I'm one of 2 dinosaur paleontologists at the museum. The other is our brand new, almost brand new, she's been there 2 months, collection manager Sarah Davis, and me.
Nice, nice. So we're out here in Wyoming digging up this horned dinosaur, and the fossils are going to be going to the museum in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's our official repository. But on their way there, these are going to get prepped up there in Pennsylvania and Cincinnati.
Yep.
And Nick here was actually working on prepping this individual animal. This pieces that we collected of it last year. Nick was working on that since March, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Yep. So pretty cool that he gets to work on this same specimen, that he gets to help dig up more of it, the same one that he was working on in the laboratory.
It's awesome.
Yeah, pretty darn cool.
It's...
Yeah. And again with the knee pads, chicken bacon Swiss. I've been digging dinosaurs since 2011, and I've never had any knee problems. Don't worry about the knee pads. It's fine.
You seem to have the audience seems very concerned for our well-being, which is really nice.
It is, yeah. I mean, to be fair, everybody's sitting at home, hopefully in their air-conditioned gamer chairs, and yeah.
I don't even have a gamer chair. I just have a really crappy broken office chair. It's leaning on one side. There's like 3 of the 4 screws are missing.
Does that affect your gameplay?
I don't know. I lock in. I lock in when it's time to lock in.
Nice.
I would actually, if I sucked at video games, I would blame it on the chair.
Hey Matt, can I borrow your phone?
Yeah.
So I've got a
What are you going to use mine for?
big comfy leather office chair at home, which you'd think I would miss right now, but I don't, you know? I'm in my element here. It was all pristine and beautiful before one of the cats started scratching it up, too. And UK, too, no aircon either. Yeah, there's, I guess, a lot of places in the UK you really don't need air conditioning, or at least not until recent years, with the climate warming.
Old colleges like to make students suffer.
Yeah.
With their old 1940s, 1950s buildings with no air conditioning and steam heating.
Yep.
And that steam heating is on 24/7.
You can't turn it off.
Yeah.
Thank you. I promise I won't lose yours.
And my freshman dorm at Montana State didn't have air conditioning.
Yep.
But, I don't know.
I snuck in an air conditioning unit.
What's that?
I snuck in an AC unit.
You did?
Because they were like avid, no AC units in the dorm. I'm like, wow.
Just like no microwave ovens and no this and no that.
Yeah,
it's part of the experience. You just have to suffer.
Yeah. So
I actually have always thought college dorms were like just sort of like intended to make you suffer or something.
Yeah, well, it's like you're not supposed to spend any time in there. You're encouraged to go out and do activities and go to the library and all that, which I definitely did.
It's like trying to enhance your mutant power in X-Men.
Is that what it's like?
Well, yeah, like they make you suffer until you finally mutate.
Oh.
No, I don't know. Like to this day, I've had to like sleep in dorm rooms as an adult, and I just like. I never liked
like a prison cell.
I don't like I don't like sharing a room with somebody else if I mean it's not my wife. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I go one off on that. I agree with you on that. I cannot stand it.
Yeah, I just think it's cruel and unusual punishment to make these kids that are paying like $60,000, $70,000 a year share a room with somebody else. It's just weird.
Yep.
I had to change roommates my second year because he refused to bathe.
Oh no.
It was rant. I lasted 4 weeks, and
is that how long it had been? Had he not taken a bath and any?
Yeah, no, it just reeked. And like telling a grown man to take a shower I should never have to do that.
I agree.
It was pretty rancid, and I just suffered. And I won't go too much in detail, but he did so many other weird stuff.
Yeah, and maybe he had some other issues at play.
The thing that threw me over the line, though, is that we have private bathrooms, and this is why I chose the building, so it was private bathrooms.
Yeah.
and but they're kind of public to everybody. So it's not like a public bathroom, but it's, you know, there's like 3 different ones that are individual. It's right across the hallway from my room, and this kid, he sleeps in a lot, and I have really early classes, so I just, you know, I don't need to bring my key or my ID with me because I'm just going across to take a shower and come right back. I did that, and I came back, and the door was locked, and I was like, come on.
Like he locked you out?
Yeah, like he locked me out, and I thought he was still in there. And, but, you know, after 15 minutes of trying to pick lock and banging on the door, you know, nothing happened, and I had to go outside with a towel wrapped around my waist to the...
outside of out of the building?
Yeah, out of the building.
Wow.
I had to have some other person with an ID card so they could scan in the building.
So you do really walk around with a loincloth?
I did. I walked around with a loincloth, and I had to go ask, you know, I need a spare key because my roommate locked me out.
Wow,
and
that sucks.
Was horrible. It was horrible, and I just, I changed roommates after that, and it lucked out. It worked.
Good.
I had a similar story where in Montana obviously it gets really cold during the winter.
Yeah.
And we had these heating units right under the windows in all of the rooms. So this is freshman year. I'm in the all-male dorm, which was awful. And it was like 6 in the morning. I had a really early 7 a.m. class. I'm taking a shower, and then the fire alarms start going off, and the sprinklers start going off. So I'm like, I have to run downstairs out of the shower in a towel. So it's like, luckily I brought like my water shoes with me in the shower. So I'm just like, you know, in a towel, and there's just steam emanating off of me. I looked like a swamp monster because it was like negative 20 degrees out. It's just all the steam coming off. Somebody had stupidly left their window open overnight, and then the pipes in the radiator thing froze, and then that set off all the fire alarms and everything.
Oh,
this would happen at least a couple times a year. And yeah. It only ever happened in that dorm too, the only all-male dorm.
That same year, the day before Thanksgiving break, the pipes froze and they broke, and I had no heating, and it was you know, 15 degrees outside. It was horrible.
Jim Kirkland says the state of Utah used to make Don DeBlue and I cohabitate in hotels.
To be a fly on the wall.
Jim, you remember that the first year that I was out where I got there before you did, and I'm like, oh, this is a nice place to put my tent, and it was about 3 feet away from where you put your tent. So like I get back from the field that day, and there's just this giant tent next to my tiny little, like, you know.
I thought I was waiting for a tarp.
No.
You were waiting for what?
Just a tarp.
Yeah. We'll have Jim tell that story when I'm out in the field with him, but the Jim Kirkland tent, the blue tarp. But yeah, so I don't know why I didn't move my tent that summer. I think it was like on its last legs, and I thought if I took it down, I'd break it. So me and Jim were just very close neighbors for that first summer. Yeah, rookie mistake, Danny. I know, right, Charlie's Dragon? Yeah. Not knowing Jim's spot. But I can understand getting really used to, like, accustomed to a certain particular place when you've been doing field work, like, at a site for, like, 20 years. It's like, this is my spot, this is where I spend 2 months out of every year, or whatever. You know, you get really attached to a particular location for your tent. Your alcove, yeah, there you go, Jim. Yeah.
I feel bad for Mandy. I hope she finds her phone.
And friend to all, I love this. Fun facts about my hat. This is an Australian slouch hat here. And I've been using this in the field since 2011. I actually got it a few years before then, but it was my first field work with it.
Is that a Nakubra by any chance?
No, it's it's a leather. I'm not going to say the brand name because I don't want everybody to go out and get the same exact hat as me. But I'll tell you later if you want to know. But yeah. But having the left side of the brim turned up like this has been really helpful in the field. If we get like a sudden gust of wind, I can turn my head in such a way that it won't take the hat off my head. Or if I'm like riding in the back of the truck, like I've had to do a lot of times this summer. But also, if I've got like a generator over on my shoulder, or like got to carry a bunch of shovels or something, it's gonna sling them over there like a rifle, because that's what it was originally designed for. Is like you've got a rifle slung over your left shoulder, and so you pin up the left side of the hat so that it doesn't knock the hat off your head.
Huh.
Yeah. And it's called a slouch hat because traditionally, like for dress uniforms or whatever, you're supposed to wear it slouching like this with the upturned brim up like that. And then there's usually like a strap that goes underneath, but, you know, not trying to be traditional out here. Hang on, we've got some people on the road there, so let's try not to make any conspicuous moves.
ATVers,
yeah,
my favorite.
I'm gonna go caveman mode on them real quick.
Just make sure you bring a club. Because any other weapon would be too sophisticated for you.
What year is this?
Oh, like go out and scare them with your loincloth persona. I like it.
They're all whooping like cowboys down there.
Yeah. Are they gonna be racing?
It is Saturday today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So I guess, we should expect a lot more ATV traffic. Another question. I always wonder what kind of fossils are under buildings that were built before the knowledge of dinosaurs. Like, what could be found underneath DC? You know, I'm kind of convinced that a lot of people in DC still are not aware of the existence of dinosaurs or other basic scientific facts, but that's another matter.
There are, believe it or not, there are dinosaurs from the vicinity of DC. There's a
Capitalsaurus.
Right, there is Capitalsaurus, yeah.
Which is what, like a Dryptosaur or something, maybe?
I don't know what it's thought to be.
It's something undiagnostic.
It's like just one claw, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there was also a vert that was referred to it, but there's like, who can tell if it's the same critter?
Yeah.
You know?
But nearby in Laurel, Maryland, there's a really cool place called the Dinosaur Park.
Yeah.
Where people are finding pretty remarkable things. I'm not spilling any secrets because this was in the news, but
it's a recent thing too.
They've been digging there for a long time, but they've recently started to make a lot of really significant progress there.
Yeah.
So they've got theropods, so big predatory dinosaur material. They've got sauropods, so long-necked, long-tailed dinosaur material. They have armored dinosaurs, so ankylosaur material, and other stuff too. It's a really remarkable place. It's open to the public. I think you can, I don't know exactly what the hours are, but you can definitely go and visit it if you live in the DC area.
Yeah.
So.
Dinosaur Park, it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, not to be confused with Dinosaur Provincial Park up in Alberta.
It's either called Dinosaur Park or Fossil Park. It's something.
It is Dinosaur Park, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say it's like a very unoriginal name, but it's.
And I think it's right next to literally like an office park or something.
Something like that, yeah, I think so, yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to come out to wild places like Wyoming to find dinosaurs, but I don't know. If you're prospecting for new sites, this is the. You know, you want your Badlands topography like this. This is the kind of territory you want to look at. Not that everybody should be going out and doing that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, yeah. Helena Rose says, my tiny human brain cannot imagine or comprehend 180 million years.
You know, to be honest, our tiny human brains can't either. I think that I've been, you know, thinking about the age of dinosaurs since I was a little tiny kid, but I can't wrap my head around the concept of a million years. I mean, I think all we do is kind of sort of consider things relative to each other. So, you know, so the dinosaurs here are older than T-Rex, you know what I mean? And T-Rex is a lot older than we are, but it's I mean, again, I don't think any human on the planet can really comprehend what a million years really is like.
Yeah. To really like get that full sense.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for me to go on a soapbox, and who knows whether everybody will agree or not, but there's a lot of resistance in some paleontological circles for the idea of animals kind of dispersing over long distances.
Rafting?
Right, exactly, over oceans. And so my counterpoint to that is, show me another good way to get monkeys and rodents to South America. And also bear in mind that there are massive storms that wash giant chunks of vegetation out to sea.
Yep.
So the point is, like, if something, think about, we talk about like the storm of the century, so that happens once every 100 years. It means it happens 10 times every 1,000 years. It happens 100 times every 100,000 years. It happens 1,000 times every million years. So if you keep adding if you factor in the immensity of geologic time, all of a sudden these incredibly uncommon events become commonplace. And all it takes is one monkey on a raft of vegetation to make it. A pregnant female in that case, or ideally a population. So like I'm really one of my pet peeves is people that are really resistant to the idea that, say, dinosaurs could cross ocean barriers. I don't think they could cross like the Pacific, but but I think over time and over many generations, they go island to island, and you can get dinosaurs to different places. I think
that's a lot more parsimonious than like magical land bridges.
Right, exactly. Like that, There's some recently, and this is something Nick can maybe talk about a little bit, but there's been some kind of people trying to revise the long-standing idea that, for those that weren't watching yesterday, my kind of area of interest is southern hemisphere dinosaurs, and in particular Patagonian dinosaurs. And there's lately been some resistance to the idea of hadrosaurids. The traditional idea is that duck-billed dinosaurs, hadrosaurs, evolved in the northern hemisphere and dispersed to the southern hemisphere, probably by having to cross oceans from time to time, or cross seawater from time to time, sometime in the late part of the Late Cretaceous. I still think that should be our null hypothesis, the one that we go with.
The default,
Yeah, and the reason being that, again, when you take a very improbable event, again, that happens once every 100 years, once every 1,000 years, when you multiply that by deep time, by millions of years, all of a sudden these things become common.
Yeah.
Or at least not impossible. And that to me is why, there's this idea that Nick has been studying a little bit of, that, hadrosaurs, maybe were in the southern hemisphere for a lot longer period of time. I still see no evidence that would force us to revise the traditional idea of them coming from North America. So sermon over, I guess.
No, good answer. That's yeah, and I completely agree with you on that front. I particularly liked in was it season 1 or 2 of Prehistoric Planet where they had the Rhabdodontians?
Eolambia is on the little raft in season 2.
Was it Eolambia?
Oh, really?
No, Eolambia is from the Cedar Mountain. That's
Zalmoxes.
Yeah, the little Rhabdodontians.
Little Rhabdodontids. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because at the end of the Cretaceous, Europe is effectively a series of islands, and to get Rhabdodontids, these weirdo, they're a very strange, weird, small-ish type of plant-eating dinosaur.
What Lindsay Zano and her crew call a SPEEDO. Have you heard this before?
No.
It's an acronym. Okay. Small-bodied early diverging ornithischian. So,
SPEEDO.
SBEDO.
Okay, yeah, so they're that.
I learned that at the MTE conference that Lindsay and her students were at last summer. I've been using that ever since.
They have this weirdo thing from the Cedar Mountain that might be related to those.
Just named, what was it called?
It's Eoni Smithy.
Smithi, They presented on that, and it was like 2 days after the paper had come out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. But so basically you've got this group, these weirdo little guys, Rhabdodontids, these speedos, I guess, all across southern Europe in the Late Cretaceous, and really the only way. I mean, it's possible that the lineage was there, for a longer period of time than we think. But
probably like a ghost lineage.
Most likely is that they're one of them. A lineage gets into say what's now Transylvania or what's now France or something, and disperses to the other islands.
Do you want to talk at all about your South American hadrosaur work, Nick?
I would like to. I don't know how much I could talk about it, though. Yeah. I don't know if I could...
you could just say I'm cool and I'm working on South American hadrosaurs. That's good enough.
Because it's in the progress, in the process.
Yeah.
So but I'll be for the past year and a half, I've been studying the paleobiogeography of South American hadrosaurs with Matt and Eric Gorsak, and now Eric Marshhauser on my. I'm implementing this into my master's thesis. But I'll be studying the basically the origin of the South American clade, using the North American immigrant hypothesis instead of them being endemic to South America or Gondwana. And I'll be using different types of analysis. That's not parsimony analysis.
Bayesian, right?
Dip dating Bayesian analysis to recover phylogenetic trees and divergence dates.
Nice.
So that's about as far as I'm going to go into, but I guess keep an eye out. If you go to SVP, I'll be presenting a poster on it. Maybe you could get an autograph. I don't know, $5.
Nice.
I say that's a deal.
Fund your grad student.
And now that you're a Twitch celebrity,
Yeah, and maybe show you where I could get this
shirt.
Awesome Nick shirt, And, I don't know. It is on Halloween, so if I see anybody dressing up like this on Halloween on SVP, like you're gonna free autograph.
Oh, nice! I thought you were gonna say you're gonna get called out for stealing.
Get a knuckle sandwich.
For stealing your style. Yeah, I think having Nick punch someone at SVP would violate the SVP code of conduct. So don't do that. Don't punch anybody.
It would be your fault.
My second
my fault? No, not yours. Okay. The viewers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Don't punch me either. I'm not inducing any violence.
Like just fewer punches at SVP are a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what do we do with the broom handle? So,
it's basically a brush.
That's right there. Yeah, the broom handle's back here.
Yeah.
We could use that as a fighting staff, I guess, if we need to.
Y'all could see.
Yeah.
Oh, the handle? Yeah. Look at this.
When I go feral and turn into a Tuscan Raider, that's what I'm going to use. Good. You just hit yourself in the...
I know I just did. I just cut my leg off.
Nice. That's pretty... that's better than I could do.
That's about it. Show off is over. But that's what we do with broom handles when we're bored.
Well, that's what Nick does. Yeah.
I gotta practice my hunting and gathering skills, I look like a complete idiot doing that.
Anodyne Quining says, Star Wars kid. Remember that old video, yeah.
I don't know. I had like a brief period where I was like a Star Wars nerd, and then I grew out of it. So
you matured into Godzilla lore and stuff.
Godzilla never dies.
Yeah, mature.
Women are temporary. Godzilla's forever.
Okay.
Yeah. So ladies, if you want to make this your own.
Yeah.
We're slowly taking the hill 3 feet that way. That's the idea, Madibs, yeah. Bit by bit, when we're in the bone-bearing layer, work with hand tools and go slowly.
Wow, this looks a lot better than it did this morning.
It really does.
Yeah.
Ethan was like, get rid of those rat holes that you've been digging. So, yeah. That's when I'd never heard that term before.
Me
I started
neither.
working with Ethan.
I think it's an Ethan original, actually. Yeah.
Or maybe it's probably a Don DeBlue original, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
Don's very persnickety about stuff like this, but he's usually right. So. And Jim's got a question for you, Matt.
Okay.
What do you think of Jerry Harris's future career as a voice actor?
I mean, I've never heard. All I know is that Jerry is one hell of a paleontologist, and so if he's decided to quit paleontology to become a voice actor, then he must be a damn good voice actor too. But that dude is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. He knows something about everything, and actually usually a lot about everything, and is just a really, really wonderful guy to begin with. So. Yeah, so
high praise.
I personally, to be honest, just from a jealousy standpoint, I wish Jerry was staying in paleontology because I have a bunch of papers that I want to finish with him.
But, is he actually going into voice acting?
He does that as like, I mean, I always understood it to be kind of a side gig thing, but you know, who knows? Maybe he's making a career out of it. He is retiring, I think, pretty soon if he hasn't already, and yeah. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So many different people with different talents in paleo. It's impressive.
Right. I can touch my. I shouldn't say this. I can touch the tip of my nose with my tongue. That's my special talent.
Really?
So, yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I won't ask you to do that for the chat, but
no, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get a Matt emote.
If you're not volunteering, then yeah.
No.
And Moo Hoodles. Hey, thank you for being here. Good to see you, Moo. She does science outreach here on Twitch.
Nice.
Like astrobiology, astronomy news, that kind of thing. She won the science panel with me last October at TwitchCon. The reason I couldn't be at SVP, not because of Moo Hoodles, but because it was the same weekend as SVP.
No, it's her fault. No, you're doing really good work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. God's work.
God's science work.
Yeah, I know. That was like what came to mind, but I was like, it doesn't really work.
It's fine, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sent here on a mission from God.
Alright. Hammer right there. Gotta make sure that when I take this down, these nails stay in place. Yeah. Well, good to see you, Danny. Good to see you too, Moo Hoodles. Today has been a good day. It's been windy. We've had it easy at this site. Over at the other site, it's been, I don't know, very unpleasantly windy. Here, it's only been mildly unpleasantly windy.
I guess it is a good idea to take this down because if that frill, if last year was found there,
exactly,
something there.
And that'll make it easier to take this down too. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Get the loose crud on top first. Sorry, I'm not trying to get you, Mandy. Sorry.
You find it? Yes.
All right.
It was right where it fell out of my pocket.
Where did it fall out of your pocket?
Just a little uphill from the Turtle Hill site. So
okay.
Nice.
Too hard to find, yeah.
So we just averted disaster. Mandy found her phone.
That's the thing I love about Wyoming. There's no vegetation.
Nice.
Where's the other shovel? Oh, you guys both have. Okay.
You want to use it?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got one behind you too. Shovel or scoop?
Whatever this is.
Oh yeah, call those scoops.
Okay.
Yeah.
The message to pass along from the guys over at the...
They want us to come get plants, right?
No. They can cover all the plants that are left behind.
Oh, great. Okay.
And they said don't wait for them. They're good as long as we can all fit in your car.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. We've got 4 of us. Yeah, we can all fit for sure.
But
I didn't even realize it's 5:45. Yeah.
If there's something for me to do, I'd love to help. And if there's not, that's totally okay.
Yeah. How are we feeling, guys?
I mean, I'm fine. I can keep going. Doesn't matter. Yeah. But it's up to you. I'm good with whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll keep going for a little while, I guess, and then we'll see them go down and.
I mean, the sooner we quit, the faster it's beer 30.
There you go.
So, yeah.
I don't oppose that.
Jim's got a good question, I guess, relating to losing phones. Why are electronics black? And I think I actually have an answer for this. I think it might be a holdover from a time when, like, different color plastics actually had different, like, amounts of, like, strength to them. And so, like, black plastic was the hardest to crack, the hardest to break. I think that's where that comes from. But I'm not totally sure. I think, like, maybe some of the first ABS plastics were black. But
yeah, I'm not gonna speculate. I have no idea. Yeah.
As long as it works, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I really don't care.
Yeah, and when is the overburden going away? We're gonna have to jacket this tomorrow, Jim, and then take down the rest of that.
Jim,
we're waiting eventually.
We're waiting for you to come out to do that for us.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, and black doesn't show blemishes. It looks better longer. I guess that makes sense. It's like those computers from the 80s that were white plastic and they turn yellow after a while.
That's true. Gateway 2000?
That recently? I guess so, yeah, shoot.
I mean, I don't remember when the last Gateway was made, but...
I remember I had one.
They used to come in boxes that were the color of Holstein cattle.
Yeah, black and white.
Yep.
Whatever happened to Gateway?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Some a funnel turnover and it just disappears.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim says I'll send Don to Blue up.
Okay, we'll take Don for sure. Just as long as I don't have to share a hotel room with him.
Gateway was bought out by HP. Thank you, Dark Aaron in Vegas. Okay.
All right.
I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Yeah, R.I.P. Gateway. You served me well in grad school.
I feel like I need bifocals. Like I need to look at these things. So the way the sun's setting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in my 50s right now.
Oh, and we've got a direct message to Matt from Neverwinterful. It says, "Hey Matt, I'm the guy who asked you about European titanosaurs at the DVPS dinner."
Oh, no way. Yeah, I think I remember that actually. Yeah, that was it was just a couple months ago. But
nice.
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Cool. Yeah. It's funny how many East Coast people we've got. Especially since the time difference isn't always amenable to watching live.
I brought my terrible towel today.
Oh, nice.
In my bag.
My dad threw it at me when I was going through TSA. Yeah, that probably went over great. Just what TSA likes to see is projectiles in the air.
Yep. There's a bullet hole in there.
Penny. Are you okay?
I'm great, yeah.
Okay.
I feel stupid, but I took a picture of this lizard. It was really adorable.
Uh-oh.
So I slid my phone back in my pocket, but I didn't get it back up. And then when I was heading down here, it slipped out.
Okay.
What kind of lizard?
Well, that's what I'll have to find out.
Oh.
If you could send it to me, I could,
I have a feeling I'm just going to put it up on Seek right now.
or seek, yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Or picture.
Yeah, because I know we get fence lizards, we get horned lizards, and then we get racers out there too with the stripes. Okay.
I think I've seen some race lizards with the stripes.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And as the name implies, racer, they are fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We would get these beautiful collared lizards out near Moab.
Oh, nice.
And I had one last summer that was just posing for the camera, like all proud of himself. It was really cool. And they get big too.
Did we tell the stream about our ground squirrel minion that Nick and I hired?
Oh no, please.
You go ahead.
Oh yeah, so
You're the one that has the video.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if it'll look well on stream, but we were. I don't even know if I'm in focus. What were we even talking about? We were just trying to talk about overburden and trying to dig up some of the stuff, and then some ground squirrel popped up right behind the camera and just started digging a hole. and then Matt said, you know, we hired some ground squirrels to help do some overburden, but he's not doing a good job because he's leaving these rat holes behind. And he did like 4 holes or so, and right behind where the camera is. It's pretty funny.
Oh wow! Right up there on the quarry wall. Yeah, he's a chipmunk.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just kind of, and he was just digging.
Very nice.
He doesn't do a good job, but I guess there's room for room to
grow. It's his first day.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I'm gonna make him my minion.
Yeah.
What is this? Oh, this is just brush parts.
Yeah. And then we're training the wasps to carry the jackets down.
Yeah.
So if we give them enough water and maybe the jelly, we'll throw them overboard.
Yeah. It's going great so far.
You guys are like Snow White out here. Just all these.
Yeah, we just go to the window of the corner, or go to the edge of the corner and go, oh!
So it's in the genus of a group called spiny lizards.
Yeah, the fence lizards are part of that group too. Yeah, nice. Scleroporus or something like that? Yeah.
That's...
Oh, we've got a convoy of vehicles down there.
Oh, shit.
It's like they're pirates.
Yeah. Marauders. Something out of Mad Max or something.
Yep.
On their way to the bullet farm.
Raiders and not the good kind.
Not the Oakland Raiders?
I was thinking the Twitch Raiders.
Oh, right, yeah.
Is that guy standing up? on his
Probably, yeah.
On
the
quad
four-wheeler?
or something? Yeah.
Yeah, on the quad.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times. We
Really?
used quads out in Rudyard, Montana when I was there in 2012. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
using them to get out to the sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fun to ride.
Yeah, for sure.
Just dangerous, but fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We had one guy on our crew who was notorious for rolling them.
Oh, really? Wow.
He did that several times.
Wow.
And he like always managed to walk away unscathed, but just chill out, dude.
You want to see me do it again?
Yeah. And Charlie's joking. Yeah, the wasps and the flies haven't been as bad today. It's been nice. Yeah. And Biggest Hobbit and Dan the BC Man, we're concerned that we'll have like looters or vandals come to a site like this. Like we're trying to keep a low profile. That's the idea.
Is there anything helpful I can do? Or?
Yeah, you can. Where my thing is, you can dig there if you want to.
So,
We are.
yeah.
Just stay away from the turtle the best you can. It's good advice anyway. Stay away from the turtle.
Yeah, so for the purposes of conversing with the locals, we're just geologists out here, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Just
Yeah,
humble dirt
that,
farmers.
Yeah.
We mean you no harm.
I'm an entomologist out here studying the wasps. We're digging holes to try to find their burrows, right, Nick?
Yep, to find their overlord.
Yeah, right, yep. Right, we have this hypothesis that these wasps have an overlord that lives underground, so, yeah.
Yeah.
This is where the chat should say you guys have been out in the sun too long.
And we do have some padding there, concentrate, yeah. So, Matt's got a nice pad right there. I've got, oh yeah, and some,
This allows me to lean on my elbow to do this because I have, like, I don't have my knees and elbows aren't like Danny's, like they're, like I can't just like put all my weight on my elbow and be happy about it. So yeah, I kind of depend on elbow pads and knee pads in the field when I'm in a quarry at least.
and, yeah. And fossil poaching is a problem, definitely in Everwinter, yeah. What if they're also watching the stream, says Presbytart?
You know, that has occurred to me, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But, yeah, we've only got 700-something viewers right now. I think it's a little slower because it's a weekend. But yeah. I don't know, I'm not that big that people are going to start stream sniping.
Stream sniping IRL, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's the term for when, like, someone watches a live streamer and they're able to figure out where they are,
and
then
goes to their house or something.
Well,
or like goes if they're out in public doing like what we call an IRL stream in real life, then they'll like go and try and get on camera.
Wow.
Sometimes in games and like competitions, people go and try to matchmake with the same dude streaming and then kill him, so he loses. It's honestly kind of funny.
I mean, fair enough, right?
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's like you're still competing in the game, unless it's like a friendly fire thing, right?
Yeah, something like that, but yeah, they try to...
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, and 55 half falsehoods wants to know, are hummingbirds dinosaurs?
They are indeed. In fact, the smallest dinosaur that we know of, if you count... Well, so backing up a little bit, birds are thought to be descended from dinosaurs, so in evolutionary sense, birds are dinosaurs. Every last bird on Earth, from an ostrich to a penguin to an eagle to a hummingbird. And the smallest dinosaur that we know about, if birds are included, is the bee hummingbird.
Melasuga helenae.
Okay, I didn't know that. But
yeah. From Cuba.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How do you just know these Latin names of like
because this is like a standard answer for me too. Like
really?
It's maybe like once every couple streams somebody will ask, what's the smallest dinosaur?
Okay.
And I'll go like, hang on, let me pull it up, I'll give you a picture. I'll do like a drum roll sound effect. And then I've got there's a classic picture of a bee hummingbird sitting on top of a penny with wings outstretched. Because they weigh less than a penny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Melasuga helenae. Yeah. I really want to 3D print one, but my 3D printer is like too big. I need to get a smaller nozzle.
Has somebody like 3D scan? I guess it would be like
I haven't been able to find one, but
really?
I sculpted one once, and I really want to print it.
I might be able to. We don't have a taxidermy of it, but we might have a skin, potentially.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I bet you they've got one at Berkeley, too, at the MVZ.
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
What's your... Oh, so I guess you've got like a vertebrate zoology department at the Carnegie?
Several, actually. So we have, we have a section of birds, a section of mammals, a section of amphibians and reptiles.
Herps.
Herpetology. Yeah, they go by both.
Such a weird group.
I know. They go by both names. Yeah, I think herpetology sometimes you kind of get some confusion as to what they study.
Yep.
Just leave it at that. But
I go to some reptile expos, some reptile shows, and some people wear shirts that says "I love herps."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tested positive for herps.
Tested positive for herps. Yeah.
Like, wait a second.
Right.
Yeah. Only one E in that word.
Yeah. These jokes write themselves.
Yeah.
But
we got a piece of plaster in here from last year.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, we know this is all reworked. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Oh, and just that, yes, the museum has lots of departments that have modern animal collections as well. So, and a modern plant collection, the section of botany.
That's nice to have that in the building, so like you can cross-reference if you need to.
We totally can.
Yeah.
Yep. In fact, I typically have a few bird skeletons and a few reptile skeletons, usually croc skeletons, on loan at any one time for comparison to what I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, we've got that at Berkeley too, where there's the MVZ just upstairs from UCMP.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so they're the same building?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They're part of the Berkeley Natural History Museum's group. I don't know what the program. I don't know. But yeah. And their herbarium is just across the hall.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, so it's similar to us then.
So I've done some work there looking at marine iguanas for a project.
Oh, cool.
And I can tell you about that later, but I can't necessarily.
That's okay.
I don't want anybody to scoop me. Although Jim's been doing a very good job.
of scooping you?
No, I'm working on the project with Jim, and he just loves to talk about it on Twitter.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, the cat's probably out of the bag, but I don't know. I'll be cautious, at least for today. Yeah, let's see. And somebody was asking, birds are reptiles? And yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean,
in an evolutionary sense, yes.
Yeah. But then, both birds and other reptiles are also fish, if you think about it that way.
Right. So, exactly. Yeah. Sarcopterygian fishes.
Yep. So essentially, all vertebrates would be fish, I guess, right? Because are lampreys considered fish? And other agnathans?
Jawless fish.
Yeah. I think probably most. I don't know, actually, but I would guess like an ichthyologist might use the term fish in quotes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so essentially fish is just synonymous with vertebrate if you're thinking about it in the phylogenetic sense, Chet.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
In an evolutionary sense, feathers are just kind of fluffy scales.
Modified scales, yeah.
Modified scales.
And Jim says, "Oh, you got to be good for more than one original observation or idea." I definitely am, Jim. It was Jim's idea, this project that I was pursuing. So, yeah.
I was like, "Is he talking to me?"
No, definitely not.
He knows not to expect that from me.
If I'm in your way, just tell me the.
No, you're good.
GTFO.
Good live stream edit there.
Yeah. Just have a bleep sound effect on command.
Yeah, I can't do that out here. I don't have my soundboard with me. Presbydard says, "I thought fish also meant it has gills." So basically, our big parts of our skull are like modified gill arches. It's like pharyngeal. If you look at the, help me out here, Matt.
Crap.
We need Ted Deschler or Neil Shubin.
I think my recommendation would be to like Google it.
Yeah.
Read your inner fish.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. There's a famous book by Neil Shubin called Your Inner Fish,
and a wonderful 3-part documentary series with PBS.
Yep.
I show clips from that all the time.
With Tiktaalik?
Yeah, TikTok's in it.
Yep.
I remember that.
That's kind of the core of episode 1.
Yep. Wasn't that a beer you didn't like?
No, it wasn't just a beer. It was the water he crawled out of. Sorry if any of the Cincinnati folks are watching, but the Tiktaalik IPA just tasted like the murky, slimy, poopy water he crawled out of.
Devonian brackish sludge. I've never tried it.
I thought it was good.
They got worse with each sip. I had to dump it out. I couldn't finish it. I'm sorry. I kept the can though. I had the can in my room because it was so cold.
One of my favorite internet things was this, and probably some of the audience has seen this, but there was this or I guess company or entity of some kind called College Humor that did this cartoon thing called Jurassic Park in different eras.
Oh, I think I've seen this. Yeah.
And so like I think it might start off with the Devonian. So like when Tiktaalik crawled out of the murky beer water and onto land. But the greatest part is it's the Ellie Sattler character in the thing is like, look at them, they're beautiful, as if she's seeing like the Brachiosaurus for the first time, and instead it's just this like salamander fish like kind of sliming its way out of the water, and I think one of them makes like a croak or a burp or something. Yeah. They're beautiful. I think one of the eras is the sloth is what they see. A majestic beast it is.
That's actually one critter I'd really love to be able to see in because they're so hard to figure out. Like, what in the world would a ground sloth actually look like?
That is. I thought you were going to talk about regular ones, but yes, that would be really interesting. There's I don't remember the paleo artist, it might have been Mark Whitten, but somebody recently speculated that maybe they were hairless and that way. Yeah,
I saw that too. I think it might have been Gabriel Agueto.
Okay.
Yeah. Or at least he had some reconstructions like that, where they've got this kind of like leathery brown skin.
Yeah, elephant-like skin, and the rationale being that these are huge animals living in warm climates and probably needing to dump heat more than keep it.
Yep. Which is my standard explanation for like, if Tyrannosaurus did have feathers, through ontogeny, like maybe they would have lost a lot of them just because, again, it's a large animal in a warm climate.
Right.
And
we know for a fact that that at least some parts of the body were scaly.
Yeah.
You say it checks out. I think Prehistoric Planet does a good job.
Yeah, I really like their depiction. Yeah.
Oh, they have the baby is fluffy, right?
The adult, there's like very subtle bristles, like maybe a little bit more than you'd see on like an Asian elephant. And we had another direct question. What was that? Neverwinter, same guy you were talking with about European titanosaurs.
Okay.
He says, are you going to visit the Jasons and the Elevation Science crew while you're out that way?
I wish, but so fun fact is I was there when their original site was discovered back in 1999. It was one of the Jasons, Jason Poole, was there. I think Jason Shine may have been a wee undergrad at that point. But yeah, we dug up what would become the holotype of Suawasia ameliae there, and the Jasons have kind of taken that area and run with it and done really, really beautiful work. And I'm really bummed actually that I haven't gone out there to hang out with them, because in addition to the Jasons, I now know a ton of other people that work with them, and they're to a person, they're all really awesome people. So yeah, no, I wish I was going out there, but I'm not. I have to get back to my stupid desk job. But I wish I didn't have to.
Are they going to be working at Como Bluff?
No, they work at a, so the Suawasia site is in the Pryor Mountains of southern Montana.
Yeah.
And so they...
Like Carrie talking about that.
Yeah, and so they work out of the town of Red Lodge. And
so I think Glenn Storrs and...
Glenn and Cameron are probably up that way right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in fact, I met Glenn when we were digging up a second sauropod from the Suawasia site, and that turned out to be the Galeomopus that's mounted in Cincinnati.
Right.
So I helped dig that one up too. That was in 2001. And Glenn came out, and we were grad students in the University of Pennsylvania, and Peter Dodson was our advisor, and we didn't have any kind of really place to put this big sauropod skeleton. So effectively, Peter gave the Galeomopus to Glenn. And Glenn helped us dig it up, and it's mounted in Cincinnati now. So
nice.
Yeah.
And again, another illustration of just how small the community is in paleontology. Everybody. Jim wants to know the age of Suawasia.
I don't know. It's too bad Kelly Trujillo isn't out here with us right now, because she might be able to tell us, but I mean, other than, apart from the fact that it's Upper Jurassic, it's Morrison.
Do we know which member of the Morrison?
I think it's Brushy Basin, like most of the others, but but I don't remember.
Huh.
I'd heard some speculation that, and I don't know how well founded this is, but that the Morrison exposures in the north are younger on average than those to the south, and that's
the same thing.
The rationale is that as the Sundance Sea is retreating, the Morrison is an environment basically that's following the retreat of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So the sea is gone earlier in the southern regions because it retreated to the north. Imagine it getting sucked out of North America from the north.
Yeah.
And so if that holds, then Suawasia might be quite young in the Upper Jurassic, maybe someplace around 150, what's the boundary? 145, I think, right now. So probably could be younger than 150 potentially, but I don't know.
Speaking of the Jurassic Cretaceous turnover, Jim was telling me about a new paper where it's being proposed that there was a asteroid impact or maybe a meteorite impact.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more about it. Because I guess, the old underlying assumption is that, the conventional wisdom, I should say, is that, it was probably just a gradual transition in a faunal sense.
Yeah.
But,
definitely,
the deeper we dig in the Cedar Mountain, it's like, Jim is always saying that the transition looks so much more abrupt the more and more we study it.
Well, and so the interesting thing, too, is, I wonder... in Utah, it does seem to be a pretty rapid faunal turnover.
Mm-hmm.
But in the southern hemisphere, you've still got a lot of the same lineages around. I mean, you've still got dicreosaurids and diplodocids and, depending on what Eoabellosaurus really is, potentially abellosaurids, noasaurids. I mean, so... I think whatever extinction happened at the Jurassic Cretaceous boundary, certainly it wasn't as significant as the KPG.
Right.
But it also potentially had different effects in different places. I mean, then again, the record is poorer in the southern hemisphere, so we don't have as much data to be able to draw conclusions.
Sure. Speaking of titanosaurs like we were earlier. Is it clear where they come from? Like, are they brachiosaur descendants? Is that pretty well established?
I wouldn't say descendants, but they're certainly closely related. For a long time, I was slightly anti-brachiosaurid as a concept.
Interesting.
I sort of thought that they were all, like it was a paraphyletic assemblage of gracile limb titanosaur forms, but I do think now that I think there's good, robust evidence for Brachiosauridae as a group. But yeah, I don't think brachiosaurids have specializations that titanosaurs don't, so I don't think it's a direct ancestor or descendant relationship. But
Gotcha,
I think it's the sister taxon of. Depending, there's probably new nodes named since I knew this, but Titanosauriformes traditionally kind of includes Brachiosauridae as an early diverging member, and then Sophospondyle includes kind of everything else, which in turn includes titanosaurs.
Right, that makes sense.
But yes, I guess the short answer is that they're more closely related to brachiosaurs than any other dinosaur group for which people are likely to be really familiar with, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, we have people in chat upset at the phrase anti-brachiosaur.
Oh.
I love brachiosaurs.
I mean, I'm not anti-brachiosaurus. I just was skeptical of the idea that that there was a natural group of animals more closely related to brachiosaurs than anything else, I guess, for a long time. But I do agree now, so don't murder me, that I do agree now that there are some legitimate brachiosaurids, so animals that are closely related to Brachiosaurus.
And we have got Ken in chat too. Excellent. Hello, Ken. How you doing?
Which Ken is this?
This is Ken, who's going to be joining us hopefully like today.
Oh wow.
In the field. So he comes out on the weekends.
Oh okay.
He's from Denver, and yeah, he was out with us last summer as well.
Cool.
So good guy. You're gonna like him.
Nice.
Yeah. And he very graciously agreed to be a moderator in the chat. Yeah, this is a way that he can kind of get his fix when he's got to do his day job during the week. But yeah, Ken's great.
Cool. Look forward to meeting you, Ken.
Jim says, I think Sauroposeidon and Ken are a North American endemic group.
So of titanosauriforms or like non-brachiosaurid titanosauriforms?
I don't know. That's all he said.
Yeah, I mean, there does seem to be a complex of things that are, there's a lot of people consider this thing a junior synonym of Sauroposeidon now, but there's an animal called Paleosaurus, which is, regardless of what it is.
Well, there'd be a senior synonym, right?
Sauroposeidon was named first.
Really? Before Paleosaurus?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
The trouble with Sauroposeidon is the holotype is 4 cervical vertebrae.
From Oklahoma, right?
From Oklahoma, of a very, very large animal. And the Paleosaurus stuff is all quite a bit smaller, so it could be ontogenetic related or something. But but yeah, I don't know. We'll see where that one goes. But yeah, I think there's a good chance Jim is right with that. The sort of kind of assemblage of animals at the base of Titanosauriformes, things like not the base of Titanosaur, but the base of Sophospondyle. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of taxa described pretty recently, and a lot of them are fairly fragmentary. So yeah, I think the story is yet to be written, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jim's right.
Huh.
And I'll admit I'm treading on thin intellectual ice because it's not really a group I've thought about a lot lately. So, like, if anybody wants to ask me about megaraptorids, or I can tell you something about that. But
yeah, somebody in chat ask what megaraptorids are, please.
No, actually,
what are more obscure theropod groups? Honestly, yeah.
Megaraptorids. Yeah, they're. I think they're really intriguing. They're kind of one of the groups we know the least about. Even down to, there's some that still think that they're more closely related to things like Carcharodontosaurids than they are to Coelurosaurs. There's others that think they're basal tyrannosauroids. And
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's a big. That's big in that idea is big in South America. And there's others that are. Yeah. That's what they've been cast as in a lot of phylogenetic analyses. I kind of lean that they are Coelurosaurs of some kind, but I don't know for sure yet whether they're really part of Tyrannosauroidea. So, but we have some new material that I think is going to help. So,
shoot, I'm old enough to remember back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Megaraptor was thought to be like a giant dromaeosaur, just based on that big ungule.
Yeah. So the holotype of Megaraptor, which gives its name to the entire group of Megaraptora and Megaraptoridae, is 4 bones. It's an ulna, a hand bone, so a forearm bone, a hand bone, a metatarsal 3, so a foot bone, and then a giant claw. And the original describer of Megaraptor, a good friend of mine named Fernando Novas, that some of you guys know, or know of at least, wasn't sure where he thought the claw looked like a giant version of a dromaeosaurid second pedalungule, so the quote-unquote killing claw of a dromaeosaurid. And so, hence the name Megaraptor, giant raptor. And then just a couple of years later, a second specimen of Megaraptor, or something very similar, was found. And this time the claw was articulated to other bones, and shows that this giant claw that Fernando thought went on the foot actually goes on the thumb. So they're not closely related to dromaeosaurs at all. That much we're sure of.
So where do we have them from so far? I know we've got them in Australia and South America.
Yep, and let's see. So true Megaraptorids, so quote-unquote derived Megaraptorans, are only known so far from those 2 continents. Okay. There's a few potential probable basal or early diverging Megaraptorins, so non-Megaraptorid Megaraptorins.
That's not confusing.
No, not even a little bit. Yeah. From Asia. So from there's Fukuiraptor from Japan, and then there's two taxa from Thailand. One of them is called Puviang venator, and the other one is called Vayuraptor.
I've never heard the former one ever pronounced before. Yeah,
I had heard the titanosaur form Puviangosaurus pronounced like that, so I say Puviango.
That's from Thailand?
Yes, those are from Thailand. Yeah. And I think there's an emerging consensus that those are Megaraptorans as well. But none of them are particularly well known. Fukuiraptor is the best of the 3, so our understanding of the origins of this group is still really poor. But it's possible, I guess in my own brain, they may have been a group that was, near Megaraptora, may have been a group that was near global in distribution and only survived in the southern hemisphere, thereby giving rise to Megaraptorids later in the Cretaceous.
Interesting. So, yeah, because what age is Fukuiraptor's like Kitadani formation?
Yeah, so that I don't think the age of that is well constrained, but it's somewhere around the Barremian or Aptian, so in the early Cretaceous, but the latter half of it. And so, yeah, I guess in my brain, these animals are out there, but probably, by that time, the Laurasian and Gondwanan continents are, it's not impossible probably for animals to cross back and forth, but it's
getting harder.
But it's starting to get harder, and so in my brain, Megaraptora is distributed in both Laurasia and Gondwana, and we just haven't found the early Cretaceous Gondwanan one, or the early Cretaceous non-Megaraptorid Megaraptorids from Gondwana yet. So, but again, like a lot of things, a lot of biogeographic hypotheses in paleontology, that's a whole house of cards that could be overturned with one discovery.
Exactly, like a single element being found from
just about. Just about. So, but that's part of the fun too, is we're we don't know that much about these animals, and so there's a lot left to be discovered, and that makes it fun.
Yeah.
Where does Australopithecus? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Where does Australopithecus fit in then?
That's a Megaraptorid, so that's a derived Megaraptoran, and that's about the same age as the oldest Patagonian Megaraptorids. So that's about Cenomanian or maybe early Turonian in age. So you're talking around probably 93, 92, 91 million years old, something like that.
If you were to find just like one piece of a Megaraptorid or Megaraptoran, what's the most diagnostic bit? If a genie gave you a wish and you could find one piece and a new formation, what would you find?
Like that would establish the presence of the group there. I mean, I think like pie in the sky, I would say like a maxilla or something like that, because they have really long faces, we think. And the teeth are distinctive in the South American megaraptorids too. The teeth of many of these don't have denticles on the mesial carina. So if you think of a theropod weird. Tooth in side view, with the kind of the point facing sort of upward and backward, the front, what's called the mesial carina, is the kind of the front edge of the tooth, basically. And almost all predatory dinosaurs, theropod dinosaurs, have denticles, serrations along that edge. There's a few that don't, and megaraptorids are one of them. Some megaraptorids are one of them. There seems to be a derived subclade of South American megaraptorids that loses this. So a maxilla with tooth crowns in it would be a pretty diagnostic element of these guys.
Nice.
Of course, that's pie in the sky. There's only been 2 ever found, only one of them published. 3 technically, because one specimen has both maxillae preserved. But the other one is still.
Is that the banjo specimen?
No. So there's the only cranial element for Australovenator, which is banjo, is the dentary. So the lower jaw,
really?
the tooth-bearing bone of the lower jaw. Yeah, but we've got a new. So there's a juvenile specimen of Megaraptor that preserves both maxillae, and then there's a new one from Patagonia that we're working on now that has the maxilla as well. And in all of those, it's really long and really low, which is cool.
Interesting.
And then I guess if I have to be realistic, the one element that would be a dead ringer for a Megaraptorid in a fauna would probably be either the metacarpal one has a really distinctive shape to it, or of course the giant thumb claw.
Right. Yeah.
So.
What about something that would help you understand their relationships better, like their ancestry?
Yeah. So the question was, I think people could hear Mandy, but the question was, what would help us understand their relationships better? There's still entire parts of the skull that we don't have that would be really useful, I think, like. And in particular the pelvis as well would be good to know a little bit more about. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
We had another question. Do you think Siach from the Cedar Mountain is a Megaraptor?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say it's definitely not a Megaraptorid. It could conceivably be a Megaraptorin of some kind.
Which would make it the first one from North America, right? Yes,
that is correct. Yeah, it was described as something similar to a Megaraptorin. A neovenatorid allosauriid, and that's back when Megaraptorins were thought to be neovenatorid allosauroids.
Interesting.
So yeah, I would have to ask Lindsay what she thinks of it. It doesn't. I haven't seen the thing in person, and the bones that they're illustrations of, they're definitely not dead ringers for a Patagonian Megaraptorid. It's something different, but it could potentially be related.
Well, let's see. Oh, and should we tackle this? We had a question about Bigfoot, our opinions on that. I feel like we're scientists. We can have a cordial discussion about this without breaking too many people's hearts, I hope.
Yeah, I guess what I would say is I think the world would be a lot more fun if Bigfoot was in it. One of my friends made me a poster, for those that remember the X-Files, they'll remember Fox Mulder, the David Duchovny's character.
I want to believe.
Had a picture of a UFO on his wall with the caption, "I want to believe," and one of my friends made me that of Sasquatch.
Nice.
So I definitely want to believe, but I will.
The lack of evidence.
The lack of evidence. As I get older and older, it becomes harder and harder to believe. I guess. Yeah.
There's a really really good talk on this actually by Eugenie Scott, who used to be director of the National Center for Science Education.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Kind of a personal hero of mine. And and I look that up and put a link in the chat, somebody, if you don't mind. But I don't know. As a paleontologist, thinking about the whole Bigfoot, Sasquatch, wild man of the woods thing, it's like.
It's just me.
It's Nick.
Yeah, he's right here.
He cleans up pretty nice, as you can tell.
Yeah, well, just barely. I mean, you guys don't have to sit next to him.
That's me.
No, Nick does not smell bad, or at least not from this.
No, for somebody that's been out here 2 weeks and without a shower,
you're remarkably clean. It's kind of uncanny. Clean. Yeah.
Because I lick myself. That's like a cat.
Like a cat. Yeah.
Does your saliva have like an antimicrobial microbial agent?
Does. My tongue is barbed. Hey, you should hear me at night with my hairballs.
That's why my tent's pretty far away from yours.
Where was I?
Bigfoot.
Oh yeah. Well, as paleontologists, like, you know, if you had a lineage of giant North American forest apes, we would have fossils of them, you know? You'd be pulling them out of the tar pits at La Brea. You'd be, you know, finding them in Pleistocene deposits all over North America. And it just doesn't happen, you know?
Right, or even, you know, nowadays, there's no one has ever found a definitive hair of a Bigfoot, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know.
There's lots of bears.
I heard somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that there's been like a big schism in the Bigfoot community between the people who like, between true believers. Like, some people are like, oh yeah, no, it's still out there, and some people are like, no, it went extinct last year. And that's why we don't find them.
I don't know.
That's new.
Yeah.
I just know there's a whole shababble of Bigfoot being an interdimensional being, or it can cloak.
I mean, that's what you have to say to explain the lack of evidence, is you have to invoke magic, basically.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
just saying, if you watch Mountain Monsters, and then let me know on your belief then.
What's Mountain Monsters?
There are a bunch of hillbillies from West Virginia that run into the woods with shotguns, and they say some funny hillbilly stuff.
It's probably not the preferred term, but I appreciate
I don't know if they identify with that term, but yeah.
No, they do.
If they're on TV, they might.
They call themselves a bunch of hillbillies.
They play it up for the camera.
They do. But I met them 3 times, and they're pretty funny.
Okay. Oh.
So.
How did you meet them 3 times?
Because my dad's a Bigfoot guy. So.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, you know what, fine. I guess it'll be some entertainment.
Is Mike a believer? Your dad?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a whole Bigfoot bar, which...
A Bigfoot-themed bar?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to drink there.
Yeah. I'll have to show you a picture later tonight, because he posted on his Facebook saying the bar's open. So it's yeah.
I'm still laughing about the Tiktaalik swamp water.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
It tastes like primordial soup.
That's exactly what it will taste like. Not even the alcohol could save me.
Oh, Claire Burr, the thing I wanted you to pull up on YouTube, if you search Eugenie Scott Bigfoot, there's that's the really excellent talk that I would recommend.
Nah, it's Mountain Monsters.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of beers like the Tiktaalik one, favorite paleo-themed beer?
Ooh, is that a question from Danny or a question from the chat?
Oh, from me.
Okay.
For all of us.
There was I think it's a brewery in California that makes a beer called Triceratops IPA.
You like that?
I think it's okay. Yeah.
So we got a whole pallet of it
really?
in the Museum of the
drink
Rockies.
A pallet of it, yeah.
And they could not give that stuff away.
Really?
It was that. There was that, and there was another one, and people really liked the other one.
Okay.
They sent us this because it was Triceratops. It's from Catalina Island or something, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
right
everyone detested it. Yeah.
Triceratops.
So I don't know. You tried. It was like extremely hoppy.
It was a double IPA. Yeah. So it's gonna be
maybe quadruple IPA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I'm joking. I don't know anything.
I mean, I don't think I would want to drink like a double or triple IPA out in the field a lot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. It's kind of a cold weather beer, I would say.
Yeah.
There is a brewery in Nevada that makes a beer dedicated to Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park.
Yeah, Icky IPA. Yeah.
I've had that. It's good.
I've been to the brewery there in Reno.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm kicking myself. I didn't get a shirt. Maybe when I drive home at the end of the summer, I'll have to stop there if they're open and get myself a shirt. But yeah, that's pretty good. I like Icky IPA.
Yeah.
And then there was one I had in Vernal one time, Vernal, Utah, called Allosaur IPA? Okay. Allosaurus Haze or something.
Okay.
But that was pretty decent. I think it might have been a small batch thing, though, because it was like a plain silver aluminum can with like an adhesive sticker label on it.
No, yeah. It sounds micro brew.
Yeah.
There's Rheingeist Brewery in Cincinnati makes several, so they have a. I think they're both IPAs. One's called Cave Bear, and I think it's an Imperial IPA, and the other one is there's one named after Smilodon of some kind. So it might be like Sabertooth IPA or something like that. They also did a beer in honor of when they were remounting the dinosaur hall there, and they actually had the Galeomopus skeleton that I talked about before that we helped collect in 2001. They actually had it mounted at the brewery.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess my favorite has to be. There was a series of beers by a brewery called Neck of the Woods Brewing in New Jersey that was all dedicated to mostly to New Jersey fossil animals, but because it was a partnership with my friend Ken Lacavera, who was the lead author on the Dreadnoughtus paper. He got them to make a Dreadnoughtus hazy IPA.
Nice,
so,
cool.
Yeah. I guess that would be my favorite. Because it's the only beer that's ever been done after a dinosaur that I helped to discover.
Isn't there a beer type called a dunkel?
Yes, but it has nothing to do with Dunkel.
I know, but shouldn't someone make a dunkel?
Yeah, well, we wanted to do...
I think maybe they had. When the Cincinnati guys were here, they were talking about something like that.
Okay.
I feel like it would be a very missed opportunity.
Yeah, that does sound like a missed opportunity. Another one, because... So let's start a Twitter campaign to get a Diplodocus double IPA made in honor of
Double
Dippy,
beam, yeah.
in honor of Dippy's 125th anniversary. So
nice.
I looked into this briefly, and I just there was so much. It looked like it was going to be so much work, like from like a legal standpoint, that I just stopped looking into it. But
to run to
get a brewery to do a Dippy IPA, because
gotcha.
the museum, it's a really long story, and I won't say too much.
Well, if it has to be like associated with the museum, I can see how that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess somebody could do one like totally independently, and I would drink that. But
yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't taste like Dippy's piss. Am I allowed to say that? Is that okay?
Borderline.
Okay.
We are in the field, but still.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick, you're gonna get fired.
No, I'm sorry. I gotta have a filter.
Yeah. Or else we'll make you drink a Tiktaalik IPA.
No, please, anything but the Tiktaalik IPA.
Crawled out of it. That's what.
Can I get that on a shirt, please?
That's what drove Tetrapod evolution. Just trying to escape from that stuff.
Yeah, that was actually me in another lifetime, was trying to crawl out of that murky water.
And thank you, Nerduino, for the 5 gift subs. I really appreciate that. Nerduino is also on the science panel with me at TwitchCon. He's a former NASA scientist.
Oh, wow.
Who does science outreach.
Cool.
On Twitch, yeah.
Nice.
We're a tight-knit community, but, we exist. Science people on Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, it's impressive to me that, we have, what is it? I mean, I don't know how many are watching now, but yesterday we had over 1,000. That's really awesome. Yeah. We're hovering around 750 right now, which is good, but that's weekends amazing. Are a little bit slow oftentimes. Not as many people watching on their office computers on company time, Yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah, you should have like the boss button on the like they do for like the NCAA tournament, like when you're watching the. Oh, did they do that? Yeah, so it looks like a spreadsheet or something? There's literally a stream on the stream. There's a thing in the upper right corner that says boss button, and so when your boss comes, you push it, and it makes it, it like minimizes the screen or something. Oh, gotcha. Or, I don't know. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, what did Whitney have to say about the... She says it's a fern. Fern. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Gymnosperms.
Yeah.
There haven't been any ferns from over at the Turtle Hill site.
Interesting. So, okay.
All right, so my unassuming little leaf...
That could be a holotype. Well, probably not. But like first occurrence of a fern from the almond, perhaps. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to get a little leery because we should probably wrap this up soon. Broken rock in here. And is it starting to tumble down? It's not tumbling down, but it's moving a little, and I don't like that when I see it. We should probably wrap things up. I was kind of thinking the same thing, and also it's past 6:30, so yeah. Oh wow, we're to feel it. Yeah. Nice.
I say good work for today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day,
and the preceding.
And the next day.
Or not preceding, succeeding 15 days after that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everybody on the live stream wants to watch us drink beer, but that's what we're about to do.
Well, I can't. Well, we'd have to move the satellite dish anyway. That's got to be stationary, so it's not like we can exactly drive this down the road. Yeah. Yeah, we will go get some dinner, Lenina. Thank you. And thank you, moderators, for keeping things on the rails as much as that is possible out here. Appreciate that very much. Let me scoot over this way. All right. And let's find somebody to raid here real quick. And we'll wrap this thing up, shall we? Yeah. All right. Get out of Stream Manager. Go to watch. And who else is live right now? Let's find out. I'm impressed that the internet is still good even after the router fell over like several hours ago. Who else is live? Bob Ross. Doesn't really do the raid thing. Let's see here. Oh, let's go say hello to Ios, perhaps. Replacing LED strips to fix my TV. We're gonna go see one of my favorite people in the world. Somebody I live with back home in California. And she is a member of my stream team. It is a mature stream, just so you know. But Ios is great. You're gonna love her. Let's go raid in. Let's see. Raid Ios. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah. That'll be neat. Her TV broke a little while before I left, and she's trying to fix it rather than just throwing it out. So we will go see her. Yeah, excellent. And whoops, I gotta get rid of this. Pin message, hide. There we go. Now I can do the raid. Everybody, thank you so much for your viewership today, for your enthusiasm, for your questions, for your kind words, and for your financial support. This would not be possible without you. Not just these streams, but a lot of this work was actually funded by this community. So thank you very much for making that possible. I'm looking forward to bringing you some more paleontological action tomorrow. So cross your fingers we can make that happen. I'm going to try to stream every day this month. So tune in tomorrow for even more paleontologizing. But until then, everybody, you take care of yourselves. Let's go right into Ios. I'll see you there.